Welcome to the 9, 10, 11, 12 session here at the CCAA Championship Meet, the City Meet. The second of 3 sessions that we will have to determine our city titleists. We begin with the 9-10 mixed medley relay. We'll see 9, 10, and 11, 12-year-old swimmers today. I'm David Reeder, Jason Kreutner, former Sneef Farm head coach, winner of 24 City Meet titles? 29? As a coach, really? Was that many? Wow, 29 City Meet titles. That's a lot. Is with me, and with more to join soon. Jason, it was an exciting morning. We'll see some more here.
Yeah, glad to be here with David and all the streamers, and thanks to everyone who made this streaming possible in this meet at North Charleston. Excited about the afternoon.
The swimmers completing 2 lengths of each stroke, including on the relay. Medley relay, backstroke, breaststroke, butterfly, freestyle. The West County Wahoos are swimming down at the bottom of your screen in lane 1. St. Andrews is in 2. Ashboro 3, Long Point 4. Hobcaw 5, and with the early lead. Shyamalan 6, the Country Club in 7. Legend Oaks in 8, Fort Johnson in 9. Top 15 relays score, going from 4 points for 15th place up to 62 points for a win. And all times combined together. So the winner of this heat guaranteed at least 11th place with a chance to move up even higher.
For the meet, since 2014, the setup has been an age group, and so it goes like a dual meet where medley relay, free fly, back breast, IM free relay. Pre-2014, it was individual strokes for younger kids another day, individual strokes for older kids, and then relay day. This morning with 8-nighters, a lot of concern about kids getting used to a bigger pool, bigger blocks, false starting. At home, what you're looking at on the block side is, as long as the swimmer's foot is on the block, when they dive, when the swimmer touches, they're fine. So you'll see some of them wind up. Nice to see you again.
We are now joined by Zach Moody, assistant swim coach at UNC Asheville, who has just made the trip to join us for this afternoon session as well as tomorrow. Zach, welcome back to City Meet.
It's glad to be here. City Meet Championship of the World.
Of the world, as Hobcaw leading in this first relay heat. Marlins had a pretty solid morning. Looks like they are in 8th place.
A little killer whale to the table.
And Hobcaw, so set the pace here. They're entered at a 2:42.50. Time here is a 2:42.40. So almost exactly what they were seated at.
Sometimes these relay swims early on, getting the nerves out a little bit. Sometimes you swim well, sometimes you don't, but you're really just looking for a great spirited effort from your teammates. And I always love the relays because you get to cheer your friends on, swim with each other. You're not just doing it for you, you're doing it for your team.
Final time there was a 2:42.40. The Country Club finishing 2nd, and 3rd place was Ashboro. We get set now for the second of 2 heats, the top 10 seeds in the mixed 9-10 200 medley relay. James Island is in lane 1, North Charleston in 2, Sneef Farm in 3, Northbridge in 4, Daniel Island in 5, Park Shore in 6, Newington 7, the Somerville Y is in 8, Crowfield in 9, Shadow Moss in 10. Shadow Moss, your early leader, with 539 points after the morning session. Daniel Island, the 3-time defending city champions and top seeds in this relay, well, they're just 5 points behind. So if they hold their seed here, they might move into the lead.
Daniel Island always strong in the medleys. I believe they won all 5 last year. So they enter as the top seed here and take an early lead in the backstroke flip turn.
All right, at a table with coaches, the strategy that you guys would prefer for a medley relay at different ages, maybe focusing on your 9, 10-year-olds.
It's Steve Farm. It's all math. You're keeping track. So thank you for VisiCalc coming out in 79 so we could have spreadsheets to put in those numbers. So that's it, whatever's best for the team.
I think Jason made a good point there, especially with all the different strokes, combining 2 boys, 2 girls. You've ultimately got to rely on math and what's going to work best for your team, okay? So we see some teams let off with 2 girls, some teams let off with 2 boys, some will lead off boy, girl, some will lead off girl, boy. It all just depends on your lead as Daniel Island takes the lead into the butterfly.
Daniel Island followed by Park Shore. Newington and Northbridge both competitive right now. The Flying Fish are going to try and hold off the Piranhas here. Park Shore swimmer with goggles around in his mouth. A 34-4 butterfly split there. Park Shore in second. Northbridge holding on to third ahead of Newington. And down the anchor leg, the Flying Fish poised to take the lead here. Will it be with a city championship relay? It will be. Daniel Island in 2:21.14. Park Shore holds on for second. Northbridge will take third.
The Flying Fish starting off with a commanding victory in this afternoon session as they look to potentially earn their 4th city championship in a row.
I wanted to share a little anecdote I've heard on deck. Someone watched this morning's session, asked why I was referring to Daniel Island as the Flying Fish. That is their mascot. It's not a commentary on how they're swimming, even though they are swimming fast. It is their mascot. This is heat 1 of the 11-12 mixed medley relay. Legend Oaks is in 2, Long Point 3, Country Club 4, Newington 5, Chamalon in 6, Ashboro in 7, West County in 8, Fort Johnson in 9. Fort Johnson returning to the league after a 1-year hiatus. Typically FJ, now they're Fojo. We're joined by the Daniel Island swimmers who won that medley relay. Tell us your names.
Ruby Muller. Helen. Nina Altum. Peter McCormick.
So guys, describe to me what that relay was like. A tight competition there for a while with Park Shore. What was it like and how excited are you right now?
Very. You gotta burn the energy. It was great. It was a lot. What Kellen said.
So you guys have obviously won this meet the last 3 years. Your younger guys did a good job this morning. What was the message from Coach Rose and everyone coming into this session?
It was like just do your best and lower your time and just try to beat everyone else.
Well, you did a great job there. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
And it's Chamalon, the Stingrays, with an early lead in heat 1 here after the breaststroke leg, followed closely by Ashboro, Newington, and the Country Club.
There's 2 separate Stingrays teams in the league, right? James Island and Chamalon? Any other mascots that are shared nowadays? I know we have Sharks and Tiger Sharks. Only Fort Johnson are the only Dolphins. right? Help me out here.
I think of like
I'm
Wild
thinking.
Hoons and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Wasn't the Crowfield Dolphins, right? Or Somerville Dolphins.
Both of those at some point, yes.
Pine Forest was the Porpoises, right?
They were the Porpoises, yeah.
Meanwhile, it is Chamelon. Their seed was at 2:19. They're going to go much faster than that. Chamelon to the wall in 2:14:37.
Followed in that heat by the Country Club of Charleston in second, and Newington with those trademark pink tiger shark caps in third.
They don't wear those all season, just at the city meet. But they swam. They had some big swims this morning, including a couple wins for Amelia Heimer in freestyle and I believe butterfly. As we get set for our final medley relay heat of the day, the Somerville Y is the top seed at 2:02:28. That's 5 seconds ahead of anyone else. So we'll see what happens here. James Island is in 1, North Charleston's in 2, Sneak Farm 3, Park Shore 4. Somerville Y, as mentioned in lane 5, your top seed. Lanes work from the bottom of your screen to the top. Northbridge in 6. In lane 7 is Daniel Island. 8 is Crowfield, 9 Hobcaw, 10 is Shadow Moss. Look at Crowfield out early.
Crowfield has a strong 11-12 boys age group, so look to have a strong contingent on this relay and really challenge for a top spot here.
28.41. That's only 1/1500ths off the meet record. Northbridge in second. That was a heck of a swim. Almost a record in the very first relay leadoff. Northbridge coming through there. That is Nick Evans. He's going to be your top seed in the breaststroke later on. Crowfield continuing to lead. No, Northbridge was first there. It's Crowfield now taking back over the lead over Northbridge. Everyone else a decent ways back. Can they hang on here? Or will things be changing down the stretch? The lead is 2 seconds.
Tight battle behind first and second here for third. Looks like Daniel Island might be making a run for third there in lane 7.
And look at Park Shore down here in lane 4. Park Shore might win this thing. I think they will, actually. Park Shore is going to get this with Northbridge coming in for second. I believe Northbridge was second, Crowfield third.
24-9 on the anchor leg for Park Shore. I'm not as good with the names as David is, but we'll see who that is. Possibly a contender for a city championship and or a record in the freestyle in the 11-12 girls.
Boy, oh, that is, oh God. No, that is a girl. That's Kara Pomeranz, who came home in 24-9. Yep, she is, I believe, the favorite in that event.
And she's won a couple years ago, maybe in a row. Definitely a name I remember. A strong swimming family for the Park Shore Piranhas right now. As we get into Heat 1 of the girls 9-10-50 freestyle, we got Caroline Lindhorst from St. Andrews in 2, Emily Perry from Fort Johnson in 4, Mallory Roten from Asheboro in lane 5, pair of Legend Oak skaters, Grace Griffin and Adelina Barrett in 6 and 7, and Harper Hand from St. Andrews in lane 8. As we get hopefully get the winning team, the Piranhas, over here.
We're going right into the individual events. None of those breaks like we had this morning.
As close race in Heat 1 between Mallory and Caroline in lane 5 and 3. Just went to Caroline, 41.78 to 41.82.
A pretty enormous drop in the seed time, but I think a lot of our St. Andrews swimmers entered here with no times. Here with our winning relay from Park Shore. Tell us all your names.
Whit Pittard.
Jonah Tucker.
Kara Pomerantz. Maisie Lewis.
So guys, let's start with you, Kara. What was your reaction seeing when you're coming in, you're pretty far behind? Did you think you can catch up?
Yeah, I thought we could catch up. Like, we're a pretty good group of swimmers, so I think we weren't that far behind me.
You went at 24.
Yeah.
Did you think that was coming?
I've swam a 24 before in in year-round swimming, but I didn't think I would swim in it today.
So what does this do for the momentum of your team as you go into this session?
I mean, we started off on a good foot. I think we can have a good session and help out.
Awesome. Congrats, guys.
Thank you.
Heat 2 underway here. Barbara Bauer, Country Club lane 3. Ellie Higgins, Chamelon lane 4. Emma Vigorous from Fort Johnson lane 5. Olivia Overcast, James Island lane 6. Mary Mullins from Long Point lane 7. Quinn Woods from Chamelon lane 8. And Sadie Henkel from West County in lane 9. And it is the swimmer from James Island, Olivia, in lane 6 that gets the win first. Possibly a soft touch here. We see that oftentimes with the younger swimmers.
They'll get that a lot this morning.
Yes, they'll get the times corrected, and there it goes. 35.71 for the swimmer in lane 6.
And we'll be keeping track of times here as best we can to try and get the placings correct, see who's in what place when all the times are added together. Each swimmer can swim up to 2 strokes. 2 swimmers per team in each stroke, and each swimmer can swim 2 strokes plus the IM and relays. So it's down to coaches to figure out what math works the best. Jason, having seen your fair few swimmers come through the program, tell us about the big jump from 800 to 910s and teaching flip turns.
You know, you want to start as soon as you can, within a free time you can, so that you remove that mental block that some of them may have. Some of them may just be super enthusiastic. Interesting, though, this age groups right now, this is an indicator of the health of a team, because the 9-10s and 11-12s are the ones who can show up, be super supportive of other people. Older kids are awesome, but some of them have claims on their time. So the 9-10 and 11-12 age groups are really where your action is for a team.
Rolling right through this there as Birdie Burris goes at 34.75. Heat 4, lane 2 is Kira Chapman from Daniel Island. 3 is Camille Mutule from Northbridge. 4 is Autumn Clevenger from North Charleston. 5 is Sloan Merritt from Newington. In 6 is Jordan Fuqua from Hobcaw. 7 is Ellis Austin from Somerville Y. 8, Hadley Atkinson from Hobcaw. 9, Blakely Isbell from West County. Goals to get on and off that wall as fast as possible. As you carry momentum in, you can really get a good second 25. Sloan Merritt doing that for sure, as she's going to take this heat in a nice 32.74. Second was Fuqua from Hobcaw. Mule was third. And we'll see how those times stack up here at the end. Sally Schumann from Park Shores in 2. Riley Gaston from Daniel Island in 3. Millie Jane Welker for Northbridge in 4. Clara Aikman, your top seed for the Shadow Moss Sharks. In lane 5 is Alex Pomeranz, younger sister of Kara, who we just talked to. From Park Shore, 7 is Sadie Malcolm from Sneak Farm. 8 is Oakland Jacques from Shadow Moss. 9 is Presley Harrington from Newington. What do you see here, fellas?
It's a pretty tight race across the board. Looks like maybe Aikman, but also in lane 7, Sadie Malcolm from Sneak Farm could be contending for a top spot there. It's going to be really tight at the finish. And it goes to Claire Aikman, 31-36 from Shadow Moss Sharks, taking the victory here in the 9-10 girls freestyle.
The first of the 3 Aikman siblings we're going to see this weekend. Clara goes 31-36, exactly tying her seed time to get the job done. Second was Malcolm there, and Pomeranz took third. We'll see if we can get Clara over here as we're on to the boys. Ochir Kanamarova from St. Andrews in 3. Ari Penev from West County is in 4. Sam Dean from Shyamalan in 5. Easton Brandt from Fort Johnson is in 6. In lane 7, Miles Bednar from Shyamalan. And in lane 8 is Artemi Petrova from St. Andrews.
And taking the heat win here is Artemi Petrova from St. Andrews, 42-46. A lot of the St. Andrews swimmers, like David said, are entered with no time, so we're not sure about best times, but I'll bet that's got to be a big one. 40.85 as the time correction comes in. And that'll move up plenty of places from his entry. As we head into Heat 2 here, Drew Tomberlin, Long Point in lane 2. NJ Lee from Somerville in lane 3. Jasper George, Legend Oaks in lane 4. Ford Lowell, Asheboro in lane 5. Jack Rawlings from Northbridge in lane 6. Grayson Davis, Somerville Y in 7. Thomas Mahoney from Legend Oaks lane 8. And Hudson Logson from Fort Johnson in lane 9.
So Zach was just talking about St. Andrews. They're back in the league this year. They were a real force in the early 90s. This is a team that's based in an indoor pool in West Ashley. This league's comprised of teams from the Berkeley, Charleston, Dorchester counties, and really reflects all of the Low Country. One of the great things is going and visiting and making friendships with teams all across the area and learning from each other and forging friendships. Here we go, Dave, back with our 9-10 winner.
We are here with Clara Aikman, winner of 9-10 freestyle. How does this feel, Clara, to win City Meet?
It feels really great, and I guess all the hard work does pay off.
What were you thinking about during that race, as it was really, really competitive the whole way?
Just do all the things that my coaches tell me to do and swim.
Do you have any messages for your brothers, who I know very well?
I'm going to be better than y'all when I'm older.
Behavior or swimming?
Both.
Well, already on the behavior part. Congratulations, Clara.
Thank you.
I feel like I shouldn't be making inside jokes on this thing. I taught both of her brothers, so.
I think you're doing great. Before the session's over, I want to hear more about Killer Whale Week.
Team traditions are always interesting, and we love to hear about as many of them as we can from different teams. Jonah Webster's in lane 2 for Shadow Moss. Elin Ryder from West County's in 3. Rigby Hirsch from Country Club in 4. Mac Hogan from Hobcaw in 5. In lane 6, James Kern from Country Club. 7 is Grant Gammard from James Island. 8 is Hinson Brock from North Charleston. 9 is Oliver Malizia from Asheboro.
And it was Grant from James Island taking the heat win there in lane 7, 36-36, followed closely by James from Country Club. Mac from Hobcaw and James from Country Club, 36-5, 36-6. As we head on to heat 4, we've got James Davis from Hobcaw in lane 2, Palmer Jacques from Shadow Moss in lane 3, Simon Slocum Park Shore in lane 4, Kellen Merrick Daniel Island lane 5, Charlie Tucker Park Shore lane 6, Owen Simpson Crowfield lane 7, Garvey Kangas James Island lane 8, and James Rosenbuck from Steve Farm in lane 9. David and Jason, Jason, you mentioned St. Andrews rejoining the league. I've got a bit of a trivia question that I've put together a number of trivia questions for us. So St. Andrews currently, they are the fins. I'm guessing the fin of a shark, maybe, or a fish. Do either of you know or remember what their previous iteration's mascot was?
Should. Stingray?
It was the Penguins. They were the St. Andrews Penguins.
I'm out. I'll see you guys later. Completely missed that.
Yeah, I should have known that. Your winner in this heat will be Garvey Kangas from James Island at 33.03. That was a pretty fast heat. Slocum was second, 33.19. Simpson third in 33.66.
That's exactly what we needed, some trivia. It's going to be good.
Well, I've got 30 questions in case there's dead time or filling the space. Some of them are easier than others, some of them are not so much. Some of them are sourced from your Facebook page.
I live to keep that stuff.
Heat 5, the final heat here? Final heat here. Jackson Pastorell from Newington Lane 2. Fitz Calhorn from Sea Farm Lane 3. Josh Thompson, Newington Lane 4. Peter McCormick, your top, St. Bernardino Island in Lane 5. Santiago Nevada from Crowfield Lane 6. Sam Doty from North Charleston Lane 7. Eddie Klingshorn from Northbridge in Lane 8. And Samuel Klingeman from Long Point in Lane 9.
Peter McCormick from the Daniel Island Flying Fish. Man, he is moving out here. Not going to be a record of any sort here, but he's flying down the stretch. He'll get to the wall. Under 30? Yes, he is. 29.16. Second was Thompson, and Dowdy was third.
Moving on to the 11-12 girls 50 freestyle. Heat 1, Lane 3, Olin Kantamarova from St. Andrews in Lane 3. Emily Souza from Fort Johnson, Lane 4. Heidi Bamberg, Chamelon in Lane 5. Her teammate Meredith Lee from Chamelon, Lane 6. Dylan Lee from Long Point in Lane 7. And Ava Woods rounding out the field in Lane 8 from St. Andrews. And coming into the turn, it looks like to be the pair of Stingrays from Chamelon, Meredith and Heidi. I believe the only league with a hyphen in their name, or the only league team with a hyphen in their name. I could be wrong on that one, but here we've got our winner from 9-10 boys.
There were some back in the day. Peter, we're going to see a lot of you today.
Yes.
What did you do in between the relay? You got the win, and here you got the win again.
Well, I was talking with my friends, getting ready behind the blocks, and I thank my mom and dad for taking me to practice every single day.
Well, that's important. Without parents, we couldn't do any of this. What was your strategy for the 50 freestyle?
Just put your head down, get a good flip turn, get good underwaters. Yeah.
I like it. Congrats, man.
Moving on to Heat 2, we've got Meyer Currington from Legend Oaks in 2, Mackenzie Mullen from Country Club in 3, Amelia Huber from Fort Johnson 4, Avon McDevitt from West County Lane 5, Caitlin Anderson, Legend Oaks in 6, Laney Bassett from Crowfield in 7, Macy White, West County Lane 8, and Vivi Harton from Long Point in Lane 9. Taking the turn first, that is the swimmer from West County, Avon McDevitt. But coming on real strong here in Lane 3, Mackenzie Mullen from the Country Club of Charleston. Putting her head down into the wall. The Fish, spelled with a PH, taking the win 31-47 in Heat 2.
Zach, you asked the question about hyphens. You know what the hyphenated name stands for Chamelon?
It is 3 neighborhoods. Melrose, I believe, is the Mel part.
Doing great.
You know?
My brother lives in one of my youngest brother lives in one of these neighborhoods.
Long Branch.
That's where my brother lives.
That's
Doing
where
great.
the lawn
What's
is.
The S? Come on.
I don't know what the S is.
Shaftesbury.
Shaftesbury? There we go. All right.
Shout out to Lynn Carroll, who coached Chamelon for a long time, and it's a great West Ashley team.
Heat 3, we got Ayla Yadigan from James Island 2, Aria Davis, Ashboro 3, Catherine Evans, Ashboro Lane 4, Abigail Boucher from Chatham Austin Lane 5, Ziki, Newington 6, Annabelle Pierce, Daniel Island 7, Amara Swain, Northbridge in 8, Ava Carter from Shadow Moss in lane 9. Taking the heat win. It's a tight race here. It is the swimmer from Asheboro in lane 3, Aria Davis, touching just ahead of the James Island Stingray, Ayla, 30.6, down in this side of the pool, closest to us.
Yeah, really competitive in that heat, a bunch of 30 points. 3 of them. Sanders Dozier for Hobcause in 2. Jane Murphy from the Country Club in 3. Lucy Kate Seaver from Newington in 4. Georgia Dowdy from North Charleston in 5. Tessa Delfino of Daniel Island in 6. Livy Gaskins from Hobcause 7. Scarlett Sykes from Sneak Farm in 8. Birdie Young from James Island in 9. At this age, how would you expect them to be breathing about how much in this event?
At this age, I think we maybe start to work on a breathing pattern as Georgia Doty from North Charleston takes the win there, 29.01, headed into the last heat. I think at this age, though, it's really more about having a balanced stroke, maybe throwing in some alternate side breathing there. But, you know, when you get close to the wall and a turn and a finish, it's about putting your head down because my coach has always told me you can breathe when the race is over. As we head into the final heat here, Bo Henderson, North Charleston in lane 2. Emma Soutfin from Somerville Y in lane 3. Her teammate Avery Brown in lane 4. Kara Pomerantz, your top seed in lane 5. Lucy Wilhoit from Parkshore in lane 6. Bella Schuler from Sneak Farm in 7. Tessa Ray Northbridge 8. And Bella Bourne-Fleth from Crowfield in lane 9.
We got to be on meet record watch here. 25.09 is the record. We just saw Kara on the relay go 24.90. And she has a massive lead here. Kara Pomerantz. Can she get the record?
Oh,
no, just off.
Just off, 25-20. That is a tough record held by Cassidy Lima. I believe she might have a couple in the freestyles going up into the age group. She just finished her 4-year swimming career at UNC Wilmington. Park Shore goes 1-2 in that with Lucy Wilhoit coming in second.
And that's not a huge surprise there. Bella Schuyler third for Sneak Farm. Not a big surprise. We expected a big stuff from the Piranhas in this age group, and they are delivering. Perhaps we'll get Kara back here in a moment.
Starting off the boys here, Heat 1, Beckett Tidwell from St. Andrews, lane 3. Lucas Deloach from Legend Oaks, lane 4. William Murdo from Chamelon, lane 5. And Cameron Yake from Legend Oaks in 7. Looks like we might have a scratch from the other Chamelon swimmer in lane 6.
You can pronounce that name, but he's not here, unfortunately.
I believe that's Daniel.
His last name. He was one of my students this year, as was Beckett here in lane 3. And your winner is going to be William Murdo in 33.79. Kara, another awesome swim just off the meet record there. What did you do to get ready after the relay to go and have a big swim there?
I did a quick warm down and then just put my cap back on and got ready to swim.
How do you feel about that time?
I felt pretty good. Like, a best time in Sydney, and I think that I felt good about it.
What do you have left today?
I'm doing the 50 fly, 100 IM in the free relay.
So we could see you back here in a minute.
We could.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Heat 2 here, Matthew from Newington in 2, Group from Fort Johnson in 3, Chambers, Fort Johnson lane 4, Brown from Asheboro 5, Norton, Hopcon in 6, Morgan from Asheboro in 7, Williams from West County in 8, and Scarano from Newington in lane 9. Taking the win here, Asheboro, Brooks Morgan, 31.83, followed by Jack Williams, West County, and a close race for third there with Wynn Norton from the Hopcaw Yacht Club.
It's the first time today I've thought about them being the Yacht Club. Even though it's HYC, I see it. I just think Hobcon.
Starting off with Heat 3, we got a pair of Country Club swimmers, Liam Teagarten and Maddox Chevalier in 2 and 3. Hudson Hartwell, Shadowmoss, Connor O'Neill from Shadowmoss in lanes 4 and 5. Luke Melcher from North Charleston in 6. Luke Shriver from Northbridge in lane 7. Jack Yates Hopcaw in lane 8. And Zachary Forster from Long Point in lane 9.
Start so important. Not as important as it'll be, obviously, when they're going even faster tomorrow. But you got to get some momentum, get out ahead, or you're really trying to work your way back.
That's right, David. The start is the fastest point you're going in the race. As soon as you hit the water, you're slowing down. So you got to take every advantage you can.
Even for me?
Even for you, David.
Hudson Hartwell. No, excuse me, that's Connor O'Neill getting there in 30.2. Wow, 30.22. That's a drop of about a half second for him.
Let's talk about Cara Pomerantz from Park Shore. The 11-12 girls free is a named award for Brittany DeGeet. She's a summer and year-round swimmer, swim for Crowfield and Park Shore. Passed away in a terrible accident years ago, and so it's an honor to win this award. It allows us to talk about Brittany and her family and about being careful about who you get in a car with. She's the second Park Shore swimmer to win this award after Meredith Lackey in 2008. Congratulations to her.
That's a name. That's a blast of the past.
All right, Heat 4 here. Gibbs Cart, Northbridge in lane 2. Nash Tabizi from Park Shore in lane 3. Oscar Lapine, Crowfield in lane 4. Sebastian Elwood, North Charleston in lane 5. Ethan Morrow from Sneak Farm in lane 6. Bradley Winograd, Daniel Island 7. Jonah Tucker, Park Shore in 8. Miles Bentley from West County in lane 9. A commanding lead here. Lane 5, the North Charleston swimmer, Sebastian Elwood, 27:34. Taking a good chunk off of his entry time. As we head into the last heat here of boys 11-12 freestyle, Finn Gaston from Daniel Island 2, Jackson Tidwell, Sneak Farm in lane 3, George Klingeman from Long Point in 4, Jackson Bollier, top seed Crowfield in lane 5, CJ Frederick, Somerville in lane 6, Easton Dewberry from James Island 7, Michael Wessler of Somerville in lane 8, and Holden Jickling in lane 9 from James Island. Somerville Y with 2 Heat 5 swimmers. Be on the lookout for them during the boys freestyle relay at the end. Could be a strong contender for a championship, as Jackson Ball from Crowfield takes the lead into the turn.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to beat here. Ball, we saw those Crowfield guys have 3/4 of a great relay. He gets there at 24.56, our first meet record of the year. Jackson Ball
taking down the 7-year-old record set by Wells Cloud from James Island, who just finished up his freshman year swimming at the University of Arizona.
An impressive swim there, 24.56. That's more, almost a half second for Jackson Ball.
And as we wait for Jackson to make his way over here, Jason was talking a little bit about some of the memorial awards. I believe we got 4 of those each year. 8 and under girls backstroke, 11-12 boys breaststroke, 11-12 girls freestyle, and 9-10 boys butterfly.
And who knows, maybe more to come. Our first city record of the day. Jackson, congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you know you could break that record, and had you thought about it at all?
I've been thinking about it. I was hoping I could break the record before, and I did it, thankfully.
What does it mean to you to win city meet?
I'd be pretty happy if I won city meet because I've been working the whole season to break a few records.
What's the vibe in the Crowfield camp right now?
I'm sorry?
What's the vibe in the Crowfield camp right now?
It's pretty good. Everyone's having a bunch of fun.
Yeah, well, best of luck.
Thank you.
I was just pulling up some of my trivia I put together. That's true.
Yeah, you don't let us see the answers.
Yes, as we go into event break, I'll hit you guys with another one. There is one team in the league that is has an odd number of lanes at their pool.
Oh, I know this.
I love that place.
I know this.
Newington. The Newington Tiger Sharks with 5 lanes in their pool.
So we love that. Steve Farm is one of our favorite pools to visit. It's a neighborhood pool. Takes a while to get there, but it's totally worth it. Community pool, some of the nicest people. I remember it was probably 10 or 15 years ago, we arrived at their senior night, and they pulled our seniors into their senior night, which I'd never seen before. And so anytime we ever showed up afterwards, even if it wasn't senior night, they would throw a mock senior night for our seniors when we would come. And so they handle that with, they give the visiting team choice which exhibition they're going to run, girl or boy, and then they alternate. That's it.
That's great to hear. It really just speaks to the sportsmanship that goes through this league. That Newington is able to celebrate not only their seniors but other teams as well.
Yeah, it's nice. It is hard to travel in the growing low country, and this league's always had around 20 teams. It's important. Earlier, Zach, you were talking about breathing. Looking at seeing what's happening in Europe with the heat dome and stuff, and people drowning and dying. It's important that we do our part, either through schools or neighborhoods, to teach swim lessons. It's been hurt. In the late 90s, there was a bus accident in Columbia, which meant that daycares could no longer use vans. And that's really hurt things. So whether it's LAPS or other programs that teams have, I know that Newington has a program that does that too, is really, really helpful so that we don't have young people growing up to be adults or going to drown. And breathing's a big part of that. And so you talked about balanced stroke. When younger kids breathe generally, it's a momentum killer. And so you've got to make sure that you tell them to breathe when they need to breathe. But until they figure out the balanced stroke, there's a little bit of tension there.
That's right. All right, coming out of our break here, first heat of girls 9, 10, 50 butterfly. We've got 4 swimmers here. Colin Stone from Long Point in lane 4, Grace Griffin from Legend Oaks in lane 5, her teammate Adeline Reike in lane 6, and Annalise Lindhorst from St. Andrews in lane 7. Butterfly, I would have to say, maybe the hardest stroke to learn.
Yeah, we were talking about this during the 8-unders. It's a stroke where you have to be parallel, arms and legs doing the same thing at the same time. And your head weighs so much. You're trying to figure out a way to bring it out of the water, but not too much so that you stand yourself up. I'm going to give a shout out to Kelly O'Keefe Sharling, who was one of my Sneak Farm teammates back in the day. She would breathe sideways, which sometimes you'll see with older swimmies doing that. It's a way of accounting for that. But it's a hard thing.
All right, headed into Heat 2. Gray Lovelace from Ashboro in lane 2, Helen Huber from Fort Johnson in 3, Ivy Noble Crowfield in lane 4, Evie Hart from Chamelon in 5, Dupree Maddock from Newington in 6, Campbell Shiat from James Island in lane 7, Faith Ash from Crowfield in 8, and Sarah Williams from West County in lane 9. We're talking about butterfly.
What did I miss? What butterfly lessons did I miss?
David, you could use a lot of lessons for butterfly.
No, it's breaststroke.
Well, we'll get to breaststroke. Breaststroke is a different story. We were just talking about the difficulty of butterfly and being synchronized, and the arms have to come out of the water. Okay, if the arms ever get stuck underwater, that is going to cause for disqualification. So that's why it's a little bit harder than, say, breaststroke, which is maybe just more timing and rhythm.
Yeah, but breaststroke's stupid.
As Dupree Maddock from Newington touches first in that heat, waiting for times. David, butterfly actually came out of breaststroke.
I did know that.
So originally there were only 3 strokes: crawl, which is we call freestyle, backstroke, and breaststroke. And the rules for breaststroke just called for synchronized hands and synchronized feet. So some clever swimmers realized that an overhand pull in breaststroke was stronger and more powerful. And eventually the governing bodies of swimming said, we'll just make 2 different strokes. And butterfly made its debut at which Olympics, David?
56 in Melbourne?
1956, yes. As we head into Heat 3 here.
I bet you that we are the only 2 people in this building that know that.
Elizabeth Burris from the Country Club in lane 2. Ava Park from Somerville in lane 3. Miriam Fugel from West County in 4. Sloan Merritt, Newington in lane 5. Emma Canning, Shadowmoss in 6. Maria Schwinn, Chamelon in 7. Annalyn Wessler, Somerville in 8. And Liberty Heinen, Ashboro in lane 9.
So definitely this can be a tough event for some of your 9-10s, swimming 2 lengths of a pool in a stroke they're already not sure about. But this is some pretty impressive butterfly we're seeing here.
That's right. They're doing a great job, these coaches throughout the league, as Sloan Merritt Newington touches first in that heat. 39 or thereabouts. We're waiting for the time to come up. 47 that you see is not correct.
No.
But yeah, the coach is doing a great job of, going from a 25 to a 50 is big. And we've got to learn a 2-hand touch on when we turn. We've got to touch the wall with 2 hands, push off on our stomach in butterfly and breaststroke. So that's a learning curve there. As we head into heat 4, Lee Bullwinkle, Hopcon lane 2, Natalie Holder, North Charleston 3, Alex Pomerantz, Park Shore in 4, Mary Mullins, Long Point lane 5, Kiera Barden, Shadow Moss in 6, Camille Muley from Northbridge in 7, Lily Murphy, North Charleston in 8, and Merritt Wildstein in Country Club in lane 9.
Something we would do, we would call that at Steve Arm breaking down, where maybe a new 9-year-old to the age group, good flyer, where the stroke falls apart at the end and they risk getting disqualified. Is in practice, they're diving in, so they maybe for the first 50, they're only swimming 20 yards or so. Is doing it from a push or doing it from a standstill, so you overswim it so that it doesn't fall apart at the end, because they've worked so hard.
That race changed down the stretch for sure, as Alex Pomerantz had a big lead but fell back. Kiera Barden getting the win there in 38-31. Second place was Lily Murphy.
Heat 5 here, the fastest heat. Riley Gaston, Daniel Island 2, Mary D. Edmonds, Hopcline 3, Nina Altum, Daniel Island 4, Harbor Hood, your top seed from Northbridge in lane 5, Peggy Lotta from James Island in 6, Sally Schumann from Park Shore in lane 7, Sadie Malcolm, Steve Farm in lane 8, and her teammate Elena Fowl in lane 9.
So we'll see what happens here. Harbor Hood was your top seed by quite a bit, but Nina Altum is right there with her going out.
Meet record in this at 31:25. Not sure if we're going to see that today.
Won't be close to that. Harbor was a 34 on the relay.
But Harbor Hood from Northbridge, the Killer Whale, taking what is going to be a close victory here. Not as close as maybe she would have liked, but a close victory. 33-34 over Nina from Daniel Island.
Nina Altum, taking second. Sadie Malcolm for Snee Farm was third there. So Harbor winning this event. She had won a handful of events a couple years ago as a 7-8. We're going to see a lot of siblings here. We saw her brother Atlas taking third in backstroke earlier today. I mean, we've had 2 Pomerantz siblings. We have a lot of siblings in here. In fact, just real quick, there was one swimmer in the last event whose older sibling last year, I'm not going to name names in case this person is watching, but made one of the greatest fashion statements in city meet history with a certain onesie. If this person is watching, they know what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, Jason had some news he wanted to share, and we'll get Harbor over here in a second.
Yeah, we're entering the next name award, which is the Pete Combs Award for the 910 Boys Butterfly. He was my coach growing up. The Citadel had a swim team, and he coached a year-round team called the Low Country Sea Devils as well. He also coached USC for a while, graduated from Florida State, and later on got really into technology and became the timer for a long time for this meet till like 2015 or 2016. Shouting out to his wife, Ann, who was my coach when I was an 8-under as well. This, the winner of the 910 Boys Butterfly is, it's named in his honor, so we'll be finding out who that's going to be in just a few minutes. But shout out to Pete Combs and thinking of him.
All right, and we're here with the winner of the 910 Girls 50 Butterfly.
Harbor Hood. So Harbor, how excited are you to get that win?
I'm super excited, yeah.
So you already swam the relay. What is your mentality as you go through a day like this at City Meet with all these different swims?
Just to have fun and focus on what I'm doing, and yeah.
So you're one of 3 siblings, obviously, swimming in this meet. Your brother swam this morning. Your older sister is right behind you right now. How do you guys support each other or mess with each other on meet days like this?
Well, we kind of just talk and just like pump each other up.
So how do you think Sailor's going to do?
I think she's gonna do great.
Well, we'll find out soon. Thank you, Harbor.
Yeah.
As we get underway with Heat 2 of Boys Butterfly, Griffin Wolf Hoover from West County in 2, James Wilson, Fort Johnson in 3, Tanner Jasinski, Legend Oaks in 4, Caleb Rose, Fort Johnson in 5, Joan Webster from Shadow Moss in 6, Henry Bragg from Ashboro in 7, Bradley Forster from Long Point in lane 8, and Hinson Brock from North Charleston in lane 9. The Heat 1 victory, I believe, I did not catch that. That was during our interview, I'm sorry. But it was a tight race, I believe, between lane 4 and 6 in that first heat. But Heat 2 here is a commanding victory by Jonah Webster from Shadow Moss. He'll touch the wall 45-24, taking a cool 8 seconds off of his entry time, as one does.
When you're that age, yeah. Shadow Moss always swims well here at the city meet. They swam well this morning. What did I want to share?
Shadow Moss, of course, coached by Brad Blake, West Ashley High School swimming coach, assisted by Billy Buck, who, fun fact, was my father's summer league coach at the Drayton Dragons swim team.
That's funny. So Brad also, his greatest accomplishment, one could argue, happened about 25 years ago, 27 years ago actually, when he taught me how to swim.
What an undertaking that must have been.
I've got a competing accomplishment for Brad Blake. Congratulations to him. He's a West Ashley High School math teacher, and he was one of the 5 finalists for Teacher of the Year in the district. It's an important thing to remember is that if you can find a good coach, generally they're going to be in education so that they can be around a long time. Victoria Merritt, who coaches Newington, was Dorchester District 2's Coach of the Year before COVID. Teacher of the Year. There are a lot of impressive teachers and coaches in this league, and hang on to them.
That's right. Heat 3 underway. Harrison Ashboro in 2, Parnell Hopcaw in 3, Joner Hopcaw in 4, Walker James Island 5, Trung Daniel Island 6, Nolan Shadow Moss in 7, Chapman Country Club at 8, Watts from North Charleston in lane 9. Taking the win there, Elliot Walker from James Island, 39.85. Waiting for some times to come up. Make sure we got second place, Bruce from Daniel Island, 41.37. Third place in the heat was Grant from Hopcaw, 42.82. Heading into Heat 4, Ian Buscana, Somerville in lane 2, Fitz Calhorn, Snee Farm in 3, Simon Slocum, Parkshore in 4. His teammate, Reeve Pittard from Parkshore in lane 5, August Hills, Legend Oaks in 6, Gabby Jackamew, Northbridge in lane 7, Josh Thompson, Newington in 8, and Zach McLuhan from Snee Farm in lane 9.
Speaking of swimming families, that Reeve Pittard in lane 5. We saw his brother Whit on the Parkshore relay that won earlier. We'll see 2 more Pittards tomorrow in the older session.
I think their dad's Ben, right? He was the man in the 90s. I remember Drew Bennett from Steve Farm and Ben used to battle all the time. Really good friends, too. Great job.
Yeah, Van will be in the 13-14 boys, and Sloan is in the 15-18 girls now. As we see August Hills from Legend Oaks pulling out here, looking good. Zach McLuhan from Snee Farm, I should say, also with a strong one. Hills, 36.56. Wow, big drop.
We did see a hand go up at the end there, so maybe a one-handed touch or an uneven finish. We're not certain about that. All DQs are unofficial until confirmed. But we'll call the times like we see it until told otherwise. Heat 5, last heat. Bennett Gilliard from Newington in 2. Grady Hodge from Northbridge in 3. Chris Lazinski from Somerville in lane 4. Fisher Heinen, your top seed from Chamelon in 5. Garvey Kangas, James Island in 6. Hunter Clark, Crowfield in 7. Samuel Klingeman, Long Point in 8. Russell Pierce from Daniel Island, lane 9. I've seen a lot of Klingemans today. Is that the same swimmer, or is this another swimming family?
Let me check on that. Yeah, there's at least 2.
So another great, maybe emerging swimming family.
This one's tight, too. Maybe Garvey Kangas from James Island. We saw him in free.
Oh
Wow.
A 9-year-old at the younger end of his age group, touching first at the 25, and he leads halfway back, although Hunter Clark from Crowfield is on his right shoulder. It's going to be a tight finish here.
Look at that.
And Garvey did touch first. with Hunter followed closely behind 34-39 to win the 9-10 boys 50 butterfly. And he will also be presented with the Pete Combs Award. And I'm sure Coach Andrew and his Stingray teammates are very excited for Garvey. And we'll hope to get him over here at the interview table. As we move on into 11-12 girls butterfly, Eliza Bambakova from St. Andrews.
That was well done with the last name.
In 4, was that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, I taught her this year.
Catherine Crawford in 5. Legend Oaks, Madeline Cushing Crowfield in 6, and Cora Rogers from St. Andrews in 7. David Reeder, as we talked about, educators making their impact known on the CCAA. David Reeder is a 6th grade history teacher at the Charleston County School of the Arts. So a county-wide magnet school. He knows a lot of swimmers from a lot of teams that come through.
I was pointing out earlier, the number of people on this pool deck that I have swum with, been coached by, coached, or taught is many. Or parents, there's parents here that coached me.
Forget Kevin Bacon. Let's do the 6 degrees of David Reeder.
Oh, God. There are a lot of those.
As Eliza Bambakova from St. Andrews touches first in Heat 1, 43-28. Followed by her teammate Coral, 45-35, to get the Finns off to a great start in the 11-12 girls butterfly. As we move on to Heat 2, Amelia Huber from Fort Johnson in 2, Amelia Prito from Ashboy in 3, Bianca Thomas Crowfield in 4, Charlotte Davey from James Island in 5, Blair Bradley Long Point in 6, Avon McDevitt from West County in 7, Charlotte Brohead from Chamelon in 8, and Marlo Ryder from West County in lane 9. Davids are here keeping an eye out for our event winners.
To be in the interest of complete transparency, I also just had 2 students I taught this past year walk by, and they wanted to give me sass, and
as former 6th graders like to do.
Yep.
But it is the long point swimmer, I believe, Blair Bradley, taking the lead here, commanding lead about a body length over James Island's Charlotte Davey.
As Bianca Thomas there, struggling with goggles, look like they're around her neck. Just a reminder, swimmers, tighten your goggles. Do not let that happen. Super tight. They should not be comfortable.
David should know he wears Swedish goggles and they're not comfortable.
I'm pretty sure very few people watching this know what that means.
For people at home, the 11-12 age group, it's the most challenging age group for a swimmer to participate in. There's peak involvement, a lot of swimmers, a lot of good swimmers, a lot of excitement, and it begins to sort of tail off as you enter into the 13-14s. And so if your swimmer or your child is swimming in the 11-12s, in this meet, it is a big accomplishment because there is a lot of really good swimmers. And really healthy teams with good, strong cultures will hold on to those swimmers, and we'll see tomorrow with the 18 and 17-year-old graduates, get them through, and you can have people swim on a swim team for 15 years. It is absolutely amazing and rare.
Heat 3 underway. Bertie Adams Country Club in 2, Shea Brandon Sea Farm 3, Zoe Heinen Ashboro 4, Abigail Cornegay Shadow Moss in lane 5, Teddy Calhorn Sea Farm in 6, Tessa Del Pino Daniel in 7, Colette Scarano Newington in 8, Emmy Jones from Shadow Moss in lane 9, and it is Cornegay from Shadow Moss taking the heat win there, 33-44. Followed by Scarano and Adams. Kind of a spread out heat there with lanes 8 and 2 touching 2nd and 3rd. Moving on to Heat 4, Lucy Hogan from Hobcaw in lane 2, Cora McIntosh, James Island lane 3, Leah Carrico, Hobcaw in lane 4, Avery Brown, Somerville in lane 5, Mercer Wildstein Country Club in lane 6, Avery Schrader, North Charleston in 7, Macy Boyat, Somerville in 8, and Stella Sapko from Legend Oaks in lane 9.
Doing a good job with the names.
I try my best.
I'm sure we'll have some ones that'll trip you up later.
Well, that's why I let you do those.
Exactly.
You know the swimmers better than I do.
Oh no, you just have to make it sound right, even if it's not. Be confident.
You also have many, many, many more years in broadcasting than I do. I make sure to add the extra minis.
I mean, the first time I did a City Meet live stream was 2014. How old were you then?
I was competing in 11-12s in 2014. So those of you that are keeping track at home can do the math.
Maybe they can't. They don't know how old you are. As the winner is Wildstein in 31.73, Carrico taking second.
The real question would be how many of these swimmers were not born yet in 2014.
Most of them.
Everybody this morning and most of those competing this afternoon in 11.12s and 9.10s.
That's weird to think about. I mean, like, none of these, not only is there no one in the league that would have swam at the JCC when we had city meet there, most weren't alive when we had city meet there.
As we move on to the top heat here, Bo Henderson, North Charleston, lane 2. Lane 3, Libby Scott Rosiak from Daniel Island. And 3, Kara Pomerantz. We've seen her already in lane 4 from Park Shaw. Millie Aker, your top seed from Chamelon, lane 5. Maisie Lewis, Park Shore in lane 6. Sailor Hood from Northbridge in lane 7. Lila Kate Aarons from Newington in lane 8. And Tessa Ray from Northbridge rounding out the field, lane 9.
The Park Shore swimmers trying to go 1-2 again. Pomeranz and Lewis. Sailor Hood, whose sister Harbor just won butterfly, is right there. But it's going to be Kara Pomeranz again winning this event. Not going to be a record, 28.55. Lewis takes second, Hood is third.
The Park Shore Piranhas getting another 1-2 here. Excuse me, a 1-2 here, and I see their coaches across the way. Coach Joe Riddle, Coach Cassidy Ringe going crazy for the Piranhas. Both swimmers that David and I know very well. As we move into 11-12 boys butterfly, heat 1, Jackson Rydell from Fort Johnson, lane 4, Colin Henkel from West County in lane 5, Lucas Byerly from Newington in lane 6, and Lucas DeLoach from Long Island, Legend Oaks in lane 7. If he was from Long Island, he'd be a long way from home.
There's actually a team from Long Island. I believe they're from Ronkonkoma, swimming in the Charleston Summer League. Yes, that's a real town on Long Island.
Well, David, it is the City Meet Championship of the world, so it is possible. But I do believe most teams have to reside in the Tri-County area.
Most?
I say most because I don't know if it's an official requirement of the league. We'd have to check the bylaws.
Jason?
Staying out of this one. I will say back in the day, I swam for Creekside before my family moved and then joined Steve Farm. But growing up, swimming year-round, we were friends with the Greenville Y team, so we wouldn't go and stay in hotels. We would stay with buddy families. And I did swim in a sail meet for some Greenville Y team back in the day. So I'm not encouraging that, but that was the late 70s.
Kara, we've seen a lot of you today. How are you feeling right now? Tired?
Yeah, a little bit. Like 3 events in, you start to feel it. It's getting hard.
What were you thinking about as you went through that race, trying to get again to win again?
I was just trying to not do too many breaths and stretch out on my like finish and turn.
How many breaths did you take?
I don't know.
All right, well, it worked out. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We say from our analysts, former coaches and former coaches say good looking fly, so it worked out. As the winner in that heat was Lucas Byerly at 43.99.
Heat 2 here, Zachary Forrester, Long Point lane 2, Grant Lovelace, Ashboro lane 3, Michael Wessler, Somerville lane 4, Whit Pittard. We've seen a couple of Pittards already, maybe from Park Shore in lane 5. Hudson Hartwell, Shadowmoss lane 6, Jack Williams, West County lane 7, McCarthy Smith from Newington in 8, and Braxton Newland from Country Club in lane 9.
Yep, Whit, older brother of Reeve, who we just saw, and again, 2 more Pittards to come tomorrow. They may or may not be watching at home. Wouldn't surprise me at all if they were.
Looks to be a tight race between Lovelace from Ashboro and Pittard from Park Shore. And it's going to be Grant Lovelace taking the win here at Heat 2, 36.03. Taking about four seconds off his entry time. A great swim for the Ashboro Alligator. One of the few alliterative team names we have in our league.
What else? There are more.
Oh, there are more. I have it as one of my trivia questions.
We'll have to come back to that next.
Come back to that one.
That's your natural segue.
Jack Yates, lane 2 from Hobcaw. Luke Melcher, North Charleston in lane 3. William Toderon, Hobcaw in lane 4. Jake Selinsky, Ashboro in lane 5. Finbar Graber from Northbridge in lane 6. As we had a false start there, we'll hear the multiple horns go recall. Cole Sanders from Park Shore in lane 7. Lowell DeWitt, lane 8. Country Club in lane 8. Rowan Chambers from Fort Johnson in lane 9. as we're going to try to stop Luke here.
Oh, God,
North
he's
Charleston.
going.
He's going to swim this whole 50, it looks like. So we're going to have to reorganize the heats here so we can give these guys some rest. But I'll use this time to
just real quick before we go on any further, I believe that was Sanders from Park Shore who left early. But just remember, guys, in the city meet, you get, or in Summer League, you get a second chance. So you false start once, that's okay. A second time will be a disqualification. But because the swimmer just swam the entire heat, not the one who false started, I think they are going to wait.
That's right.
Heat 4 is going to go first.
As we get ready for Heat 4, in addition to the Asheboro Alligators, we have 5 other teams with alliterative names. We have the Park Shore Piranhas, Chatham Sharks, Chamalon Stingrays, Somerville Y Stingrays, and West County Wahoos.
Wait, there's 3 Stingrays then. Somerville Y.
That's true. There are
James
3
Island.
Stingrays, yes.
3 Stingrays?
3 Stingrays.
Feels like a lot.
Careful where you step at the beach.
That's right. Do the Stingray shuffle. Heat 4, getting ready to be underway. Make sure we have the right swimmers stepping up at the locks. Brady Uzinski, Legend Oaks in 2. Ethan Morrow from Sneak Farm in 3. Sebastian Elwood, North Charleston in 4. Francis Lotta, James Island in 5. Charlie Madison, Daniel Island 6. Leo Heinen from Chamalon Island 7. George Carter from Sneak Farm in 8. And William Ryder from Somerville Lane 9. As David was saying, when we have a false start like that, they are given another chance. But given that the swimmer from North Charleston did almost the whole 50, we're going to give that heat a few minutes of rest.
He wasn't the one who false started.
He was not the one that false started. He was just really locked in and ready to go. And I'll bet we'll see another great swim out of him in a minute.
He's either tired or warmed up.
As a tight race in here between Elwood, Lotta, and Madison, it is Elwood from North Charleston. The Barracuda is touching first in 4. Followed by Lotta from James Island and Madison from Daniel Island. So I believe we're going to go into Heat 5 here. And then we're going to swing back around to Heat 3.
This will get confusing.
This will get confusing because we will likely see a city champion in this heat, but it won't be official until all races have swum.
Jackson Ball's up there trying to break another record. It'll be official. No, it won't be, but it will be.
Nicholas Evans, Northbridge in 2, Sam Smith, Daniel Island in 3, Connor Graham, Chamalon in 4, Jackson Ball, your freestyle winner and record holder from Crowfield in 5, Easton Dewberry, James Island in 6, Blake Williams, Crowfield in 7, George Klingeman, Long Point in 8, and Sam Lathan from Chatham Lane 9.
Look at Jackson go.
Jackson is looking to set another record here.
Coming through in the middle is Easton Dewberry. The record is 27.78, set by Kyle Hertwig, or it was
That one's gone.
27.16.
Ah, he got Kyle Hertwig from Ski Farm. Sorry, Kyle.
I believe that record was jointly held. I think it was equaled last year. I'm not sure who, but it doesn't matter anymore because it's gone.
It is gone. So a 27.16 for a new meet record. Of course, not the official champion yet, but he is.
Jackson, that was great, buddy.
It's a great swim from Jackson, and Kyle still has some records that'll be standing tomorrow, so hopefully he won't be too upset about that one. I know he's a very competitive swimmer. Back to Heat 3, Jack Yates, Hobcaw, Luke Melcher, North Charleston, William Toterin, Hobcaw, Jake Zielinski, Asheboro, Finbar Graber, Northbridge, Cole Sanders, Park Shore, Lowell DeWitt, Country Club, and Rowan Chambers from Fort Johnson. That is going from lanes 2 to 9, working the way from the bottom of the screen to the top of the screen.
Thankfully, names are on the screen so people actually can see that, but yes, that is the correct order. As comes down to the back end, Jack Yates. We can say now that Jackson Ball is our official winner because no one in this heat has beaten his time with a huge swim. And the winner, there was a tie there. I think Jack Yates got the wall, maybe not. Jake Zielinski and Finbar Graber at 35.19. Okay, that is your top finish in that heat. And we're going to take a quick break. Jackson, again, we're seeing you. Another meet record. How does this feel to be the fastest that there's ever been at this meet?
It's feeling good right now. I'm going to try to keep it up, and I'm going to try to get the 100 IM next.
What's the key, in your opinion, to a great 50 butterfly?
You got to keep your arms long and keep your hips up.
And how much do you breathe?
I usually take one breath.
The whole race plus the turn?
Yes. I use the turn as a first breath and then take my second one like halfway.
Well, it worked out. Congrats.
Thank you.
As we take an event break here. David, I'll get you some easy questions here, all right? How many teams are competing in the league this year?
I already saw you wrote 19, so
All right. At its largest in the early 2000s, how many teams were competing?
27, is that right?
27, yes.
27.
All right. For those watching at home, how does scoring work at City Meet?
Oh, I'm supposed to explain it now? Okay, 31 points for an individual win, then 29, 28, all the way down to 1 for 30th place. So the top 30 score. Interestingly, and I know this is weird to kind of talk about, they used to score top 10, and I had a very weird dream not that long ago. They went back to that, and the winner of City Meet, even though this wouldn't be mathematically possible, had like 17 points, which obviously isn't possible. No. So in this hypothetical, they went back to the old system, but the winner of the team competition only had like 17 points.
Yeah, winners back in the old system. This changed in the year 2000. 99 and earlier, it was top 10 for individual and relays. The winner would have something like 600 points generally.
A little more than that now. I think some teams already have that.
Yeah, you need about 2,800 points to win.
That's a lot.
We're announcing some of the awards right now, going over the results from 9-10 boys butterfly, where we saw Garvey Kangas, the 9-year-old from James Island, take the victory by about a second over Hunter Clark from Crowfield. It also gives the swimmers a chance to have a little bit more rest. When we used to swim outside at the JCC and Crowfield, we were in 6-lane pools, so there were additional heats of racing. Now we're inside the beautiful North Charleston Aquatic Center, but we're running 8 per heat, 10 for the relays, and so we have a little bit less time between races, so they'll add in some breaks here. As we're finishing up the announcements of butterfly, we'll switch into backstroke. Backstroke, I think one of the hardest things to learn about is the flip turn.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. I was talking to a family that I coached. Until 94, the turn for backstroke in Summer League was an open turn where you would hit the wall with your hand and then you would push up, so that would lift your feet and knees out of the water, and then you would slide your arm against the wall and you would do a 180. You would essentially pivot and then you would push back off. And they introduced the crossover turn where you would come onto your stomach and you could take one stroke. And I remember the league was struggling with interpreting continuous motion. I remember our main ref at that time, Bill Metz, disqualified his son Clark like 4 times that summer, including in the medley and the individual event in backstroke when we were at Fort Johnson that year. It is a hard thing. They're expected to move continuously. They can't, lose all momentum. There is a little squishiness in Summer League rules, but you're right, Zach. It's a tough thing, and you want young swimmers to learn that early. Right when they finish 8s, get right on that.
And that's right. And so, if you're watching it back at home, you'll see the backstroke flags, which are hung up 5 yards from each end of the wall. That is so the swimmers don't have to turn around and look where they're going, okay? They practice and they work during their training sessions how many strokes I am away from the wall on a finish and a flip turn, and so they know how to time their turns to roll over and, like Jason said, make continuous motion. which I believe in Summerlee you are allowed to kick to create continuous motion. At different levels, there's some different interpretations of what continuous motion is, but I'm glad to hear the referee wasn't biased if he was disqualifying his own son.
Great memories. Not really, but there you go. With these backstroke starts with 9-year-olds, you should see them stay underwater till the flags probably. Experienced parents and coaches know that fly kicking underwater is, for most people, much faster than backstroke itself. So later on, you'll see there's these red buoys on the lane lines. With 13, 14s, and 15, 18, some of them will backstroke kick and come up. They have to come up before the red buoy on the other side. But it's amazing to see students, swimmers who've worked hard over years to become so efficient at fly kicking underwater.
Yep, as we're underway with Heat 1 here, Annalise Lindhorst from St. Andrews in 3, Adeline Reike from Legend Oaks in 4, Kate Mullins, Long Point in 5, her teammate Emma Solwer in lane 6, Mia Pascal from Legend Oaks in 7, and Emma Anderson in lane 8 from St. Andrews. And it is going to be Emma from Long Point, looks to be in the lead, although right here at the bottom, Annalise from St. Andrews touching it very close, and it was Annalise from St. Andrews, 48-48, taking Heat 1. And a lot of cheers from the coaches on the other side. Yes, they all had clean turns, great starts. I know we're blessed with some fantastic facilities here at the North Charleston Aquatic Center. One of the struggles back in the day, the old touchpads they used at the JCC were notorious for being very slippery. And I know a number of swimmers that would actually put their feet so low that they would be on the wall beneath the touchpad, and they would sacrifice a little bit of the power on their start in order to make sure they get a clean push-off. But we don't have any of those problems here at the North Charleston Aquatic Center, hosting for its 6th year in a row, with Heat 2 being Caroline Rush from Crowfield, lane 2, Rose Wynn, Park Shore, lane 3, Charlie Britt from Country Club, lane 4, Julia Souza from Fort Johnson, 5, Rosie Johnson, Park Shore, in lane 6, Lee Bullwinkle from Hopcon, lane 7, Barbara Bauer, Country Club, in lane 8, and Helen Huber from Fort Johnson in lane 9.
One of my favorite stories with those old touchpads are last year at the JCC. Kaysen Brown pushed off the wall. He didn't even do a start. He just pushed off the wall. He ended up getting second. Jason, remember who won that race? 15-18 boys backstroke, 2013. Kaysen Brown pushed off the wall, got second. A race won by
Jack Story. Oh, I don't know.
Andrew Bagley.
Oh my gosh, that's right. He set the record.
You should know that. Last year in meters.
Class of 2013 at Ski Farm was awesome. Nate, Kelsey, Andrew, way to go.
Heat 3 getting ready to be underway here. Ansley Brown, Somerville, lane 2. Zoe Zuniga, Crowfield in lane 3. Izzy Dirks from Sneak Farm in 4. Liberty Heinen, Ashboro in 5. Lily Kopacko, Newington 6. Miriam Fugo of West County in 7. Hannah Maneker, James Island at 8. And Hayden Monroe, Ashboro in lane 9. As Heat 3 is underway here.
That 42 from the last heat should move up a decent bit.
David, as an expert backstroker here at the table, what can you tell us about backstroke and some key points?
More than you, anyway.
We've already discussed flip turns.
Underwaters. Like, the more you see these swimmers not getting a whole lot underwater, when we get to these older ones tomorrow, they'll be going, some of them halfway underwater. And that's normal, right? To really use those underwaters. You got to get a good start, push off, but short course backstroke, this 25-yard pool, all about underwaters.
And taking the win here, lane 4, Izzy Dirks from Sneak Farm, 43-19. David, I'll have you know I actually swam backstroke at City Meet once upon a time. 1 year. You were still swimming. That's how long ago it was. I mean, David.
How old were you? 8?
I was in 9/10s.
Wow.
David and I overlapped a few years back in the day.
Back in the day.
And now we share a microphone here.
And now we're the same age. That doesn't make sense. You've aged faster than I have.
Time works crazy like that.
Heat 4, Eleanor Ross from Shyamalan in 2, Emma Canning from Chatham-Moss in 3, Nina Altum from Daniel Island in 4, Ellis Austin from Somerville Y in 5, Kira Barden from Chatham-Moss in 6, Presley Harrington in 7 for Newington, Blakely Isbell from West County in 8. Claire Kovac from Northbridge in 9.
Yeah, David, we were just talking about these slippery touch pads at the JCC, and
Got that, yeah.
that was my downfall as a backstroker. You know,
That was your downfall.
that was my downfall. In addition to racing against two great competitors, Josh Adams and Connor Westbrook, that year.
Wow, blast us from the past there.
Yeah, always great competitors in backstroke and butterfly. As Nina Altum from Daniel Island touches first in lane 4, followed closely by Presley from Newington and Emma from Shadowmoss, all getting under 41 seconds there on that heat. As we head into the last heat, Heat 5, Peggy Lotta, James Island in 2, Ansley Akery from Chamalon in lane 3, Lily Murphy, North Charleston in 4, Ruby Muller, your top seed from Daniel Island in 5, Elena Fall, Sneak Farm in 6, Millie Jane Welker, Northbridge in 7, Amelia Fries, North Charleston in 8, Georgia Hawkins from Hobquat in lane 9. I think the record here might be safe. Ellie Chalupsky holds it from 2018. We'll see her racing tomorrow in her last year for Daniel Island.
But this might be another Daniel Island. Ruby Muller was your top seed by more than a second. She was on that winning medley relay earlier this afternoon, and she's got the lead at the 25 by a decent bit, too.
Yep, tight race there for second between Lily, Elena, and Millie Jane there. Actually, really, the whole top side of the pool is kind of in it for second and third there.
Georgia Hawkins up at the top from Hobcaw. But yes, Ruby Muller, another win for the front-running Flying Fish. Her time, 35:79. Welker was second, Hawkins was third.
A great swim by Ruby there, scoring 31 more points for Daniel Island as they look to contend for their 4th title in a row. In a well-contested race there, a well-contested meet as we switch into boys backstroke. Hopefully we'll get that champion over here to hear her thoughts. We got Ochir Kantamarova from St. Andrews in 3, Michael Suit from Somerville in 4, James Wilson, Fort Johnson lane 5, his teammate Easton Brandt, lane 6, Ari Penev, West County in 7, and Olin Tola from St. Andrews in lane 8.
Talking about backstroke reminds me of an old Steve Farm story of sometimes you have to do what needs to be done because the team needs it. Under the old system where, again, only top 10 scored points, the argument for expanding that was a lot of people are swimming, want to feel like they're contributing. Totally made sense. But I had this 15-18 named Tate Gibbons who was really good at free and fly. Looking at his backstroke time, as opposed to his fly time, he had a better chance by maybe a third of a second of getting top 10 in backstroke. And put it in him, and he embraced it and got 10th place and scored 1 point. But it becomes a foundational story that you share with the team in the subsequent decades about sometimes that math works for you.
Ruby, your winner of backstroke. So how are you feeling right now?
Amazing. That was just like a really good race, and everyone did so amazing. And I was just trying my hardest to get through it.
Why is it special to win this for both yourself and for the Flying Fish?
It's just really special because like it gives me points for my team, and it helps my team to get the lead, and it's just overall amazing.
And you have breaststroke as well. What are you going to do to recover in the next 20 minutes or so?
I'm just going to relax and sit down and just try to get ready for the next race.
And then I am in the relay. Good luck.
Thank you.
Heat 2 underway here. Caleb Gabay, Long Point in lane 2. NJ Lee, Somerville in 3. Colton Graham, Chamalon in 4. Thomas Mahoney, Legend Oaks in 5. James Treat, Shadowmoss in 6. Maverick Jordan, North Charleston in 7. Sam Dean, Chamalon in 8. And Whitman Stone, Long Point in lane 9. Coming into the turn here. Looks to be a pretty even race here. But that is James Treat from Shadowmoss taking the lead, headed under the flags here, the close flags. As David mentioned, Shadowmoss usually does a great job of overperforming, is what we call it, when they improve a lot of their seed times at city meet. as he goes 47.99, dropping about 4.5 seconds from the entry time.
Got to give a quick personal shout out. Thanks for the stream. As many as 4,000 people log on at a certain point over the weekend is what we've been told. Just super amazing. Alumni and families who are interested. My Uncle Tom in Milwaukee and my cousins just sent me a picture of him watching, which is super exciting and meaningful that he would add this to his plate beyond just really good Brewers baseball and Packers football. So shout out to my Milwaukee cousins, my Uncle Tom in Wisconsin. Thanks for the stream.
And it really just shows at the core, Summer League is about neighborhood and community, but we're really just expanding our neighborhood and our community to as far as Milwaukee or other places across the country and possibly even across the world.
Go Badgers!
And we've had that before. We've had, I remember a family approached me back in the Crowfield days, enjoying, a father who was deployed was enjoying this. I'm pretty confident my family is not watching though, so yours is.
My family hopefully is watching.
In this heat, we have Marion Gelkin from Northbridge in 2, Davis Yadigan from James Island in 3, Sullivan Yates from Hobcon in 4. Also from Hobcon 5 is Grant Johnner, Pearson Alexander from James Island in 6, Ford Lowell for Ashboro in 7, James Kern Country Club in 8, and Island Rider from West County in 9.
Taking the heat win there. Let's see once the times all come up. Grant from Hobcoff, 42.37. As we transition into heat 4 here. A little bit more time between the heats here just because people have to climb out and then the next heated backstroker's got to climb in. We want to make sure everybody is set and ready and everybody has a fair start. Heat 4 names are Paul Barber, Daniel Island in 2, his teammate Kellen Delavante in lane 3, Jimmy Nolan, Shadowmoss in 4, Zach McClune from Sneak Farm in 5, that was Zach in lane 5, Jack Clemens from Country Club in 6, Owen Simpson, Crowfield in 7, Hogan Harrison, Ashboro in 8, and Jasper George, Legend Oaks in lane 9.
The letters all become the same by the end of this.
That's right. And it looks to be Zach, and that is Zach, not Jack. Zach from
And you
Sneak
should know
Farm.
the name Zach.
I should
Zach.
know. Zach in lane 5 from Sneak Farm. About a body length ahead of his nearest competitor. Coming under the flags.
Barber
reaching
from
back
Daniel
to the
Island.
wall, touching about 38, 39. Maybe we'll see what the time comes up as. 39.02. I think that'll be the time to beat going into the final heat of 9-10 backstroke. Sam Doty from North Charleston in 2. Grayson Hidwell, Sneak Farm in 3. Hunter Clark Crowfield in lane 4. A pair of Park Short teammates Jude Lowe and Reeve Pittard in 5 and 6. Ezra Beecham from Newington in lane 7, Eddie Klingshern, Northbridge in 8, and another Newington Tiger Shark, Bennett Gaillard in lane 9. City record in this is Holden Jickling from 2024, 33.22.
And we'll see him in the next event, the 11-12s.
Yep. Could be possible. A big drop would be needed from anybody in this heat.
Yeah, that seems like it'd be pushing it, but you never know. Crazier things have happened. Jude Lowe, Hunter Clark right there.
And, yep, Jude Lowe, followed by Hunter Clark. A lot of yellow in the middle. Park Shore and Crowfield, both with yellow caps on. But it looks like Jude Lowe is going to take it here.
34.66. Nice time. Clark is second in 36.58. And there was a tie for third. Pittard and Beecham at 38.01. As we transition events here, we're just hearing some few in-house announcements about the concessions and food trucks that are being offered today. I think I saw some mac and cheese out there, some Italian ice. There was a coffee truck that got here when I did about 6:50 this morning. Safe to say nobody else was here at that point.
Only the most dedicated. As we'll move on into 11-12 growth backstroke. Heat 1, Ava Wood, St. Andrews, lane 3. Emily Souza from Fort Johnson in 4. Caitlin Anderson, Legend Oaks in 5. Marlo Ryder, West County in 6. Dylan Lee, Long Point in 7. And Coral Rogers from St. Andrews in lane 8.
So, Jason, I wanted to get to this today. How did you decide, when you had these multi-talented swimmers, how did you decide where they would fit best? Because, I mean, I can think of some examples even of people I've seen today who probably would have finished higher in another stroke than the stroke they ended up swimming, but it worked out better team-wise.
Yeah, coaches really have to wrestle with this, and teams have to wrestle with this, because teams have culture and coaches have culture. At Steve Farm, it was always about what was best for the team. So,
But how did you know?
Well, you're using math, basically. Because sometimes you would feel a pull for setting a record, and we've had one here today. It would have to take place in a meet like this, where there's electronic timing and there's no human error or anything like that.
What are you talking about?
So you might have someone who is ready to blast a record potentially, but that's not where you're going to score the most points for the team. And so that was always the main driver for Steve Farm. And so it didn't matter who they were, what would help us score the most points. But all teams are different. I was just talking to someone from Fort Johnson. They've got 80 swimmers. They're back again after getting their pool replastered last year. They're having the best time, right? Everyone's got their own expectations, and we all come together to celebrate here.
We had Caitlin Anderson winning that last heat. Here we have McKenna Wilson from Chamelon in 2, Blair Bradley from Long Point in 3, Maddie Mester from Daniel Island in 4, Monica Walker from Fojo, they're now called, Fort Johnson in 5, Nora Heimer from Newington in 6, Briarly Cull from Chamelon in 7, Brooklyn Arkley from Somerville Y in 8, and Lainey Bassett from Crowfield in 9.
Fojo does have a nice ring to it, although it takes some getting used to. For the longest time, they were just 2 letters, FJ, as Maddie Mester from Daniel Island, or as they're now known, Daniel Island Swim Team, another team that has added some letters to their abbreviation over the years. Long Point in Lane 3, another one, used to just be LP, now they're LPST. But just takes some getting used to. But I believe Fojo is kind of their new identity. They've been reborn.
Nora Heimer was second there. I believe she is the older sister of Amelia Heimer, who won free and fly in 7A girls this morning. That's an assumption you make when someone has a name, a fairly unique last name, same team. As we get set for Heat 3, that's Eliza Carroll for Shadamoss in 2, Stella Sapko from Legend Oaks in 3, Berkeley Anderson from Crowfield in 4, Aria Davis from Ashboro in 5, Elise Schnell, West County 6, Charlotte Davey from James Island in 7, Colette Scarano from Newington in 8, Emmy Jones from Shadamoss in 9. Good turn there from Aria Davis, being able to turn that momentum in the other direction on the way back. Eliza Carroll coming on at the bottom of your picture here, 35.80, a drop of a little more than a second. And the top time so far.
Something to watch for as these swimmers get older and a little bit more confident in their strokes is they really keep their heads still in backstroke. We might have a tendency when you're younger to want to look where we are because we're worried about hitting the wall. But as we get older, we talked about stroke counts earlier. These older swimmers, 11, 12s, and then we'll see tomorrow, they're very confident in their stroke counts. They know exactly when they're going to hit the wall, so they're able to keep still, and so as not to add extra drag.
Zoe Heinen from Ashboro in 2, Livy Gaskins from Hobcaw in 3, Jane Murphy from Country Club in 4, Noella Smith from Daniel Island in 5, Lucy Hogan from Hobcaw in 6, Melissa Ann Gelkin from Northbridge in 7, Scarlett Sykes from Sneak Farm in 8, Birdie Young from James Island in 9.
And check out the top of your screen there, the Sneak Farm swimmer, Scarlett Sykes, representing the only team in the league without a mascot.
Sneak Farm had an up and down morning session, but they've definitely come to swim this afternoon here. 5 swimmers kind of straight across here. I don't know. This goes to Melissa Ann Gelkin in 34.93. So much comes down to a strong finish, and she gets the job done by 3/10. Sykes taking second.
All right, coming up on our last heat, we've got Mercer Wildstein Country Club in 2, Georgia Doty from North Charleston in 3, Maisie Lewis, Park Shore in 4, her teammate Lucy Wilhoit in lane 5, Sailor Hood, Northbridge in 6, Bella Schuler from Sea Farm in lane 7, lane 8 is Reagan McManus from North Charleston, lane 9, Macy Boyette from Somerville Y Top seeded time, 31:14. Meet record 28:39 held by Ann Thompson. That one might be tough.
Ann has a lot of these backstroke records. She was so good at this age. We see Will Hoyt was on that. No, sorry. Maisie Lewis was on that winning relay earlier. Will Hoyt was second in freestyle, but Sailor Hood now with an advantage. We just saw her teammate Melissa Ann Gelkin get a win in the previous heat. So the Killer Whales trying to have two big performances back to back here. Sailor was third behind the two park shore swimmers in freestyle. She looks great. She's going to get there in 30.53. Wins by almost a second. She joins her sister Harbor as a winner in butterfly. The park shore swimmer Will Hoyt taking second, and Skylar from Snee Farm was third.
We talked about this morning. Northbridge Terrace, Killer Whales, black and white, always. And for the country semi-quincentennial, pulled out the American colors, red, white, and blue. Gave them some business. It's really lovely. Back in the 70s when I swam for Creekside in 76, we had American flag suits, little teeny ones. We felt like we're all Mark Spitz. It's really great. But teams have traditions, colors, suits, everything.
Did we grow the mustaches like Spitz?
Oh, I wish. I think I was 5, so I probably had to Sharpie one in.
The Sharpie is a favorite tool amongst Summer League swimmers. They always like to write
Yeah, for sure.
fun things on their backs and arms.
That's great.
As we're under the boys 11-12 backstroke. Beckett Tidwell from St. Andrews is in 3. Crawford Mullins from Long Point in 4. Connor Rains from Shyamalan in 5. Benton Bedino from Fort Johnson in 6. Cameron Yake from Legend Oaks in 7. Sailor Hood, your backstroke winner. So you were over here a few minutes ago giving your sister a hard time. Did her win motivate you?
Yeah.
How?
It just made me feel happy, I guess.
You knew you had a tight race there. Did you think you can win? How? And what'd you do right?
I don't really know.
You don't know what you did right?
I kicked.
You heard it here first, folks. She kicked.
Yeah, and I moved my arms.
So what's going on over in the Killer Whale team area? How are you guys pumping each other up and staying focused?
Playing hand games.
I don't know what that means. Congrats, Sailor.
Heat 2 getting ready to be underway. Nathan Fugel, West County, lane 2. Ellison Matthew, Newington, lane 3. Grant Lovelace, Asheboro, lane 4. Lewis Cochran, Northbridge, in lane 5. Ethan Hart, Shyamalan, 6. Stellan Bazzelli, Long Point, in 7. Logan Swigert, Legend Oaks, in 8. And Hudson Javier in lane 9 from the Somerville Y.
It's fun seeing some of the swimmers here making their city meet debut. Maybe they've been swimming for a few years, but they've come a long way. And I know that's the case for Lewis Cochran there in lane 5, who's winning this heat right now.
As I was going to say, he takes the early lead, although followed closely by Hudson Javier out in lane 9 from the Somerville Y. And Grant Lovelace, we saw him in butterfly do a great job from Asheboro in lane 4. But it's going to be Lewis from Northbridge touching at about 39, maybe 40.
It was definitely a 39.
I think it was a 39, maybe a soft touch. We'll have to see what the official time comes up as. Times on the, there you go, 39:16, the official time for the Killer Whale. First swimmer of this event under 40.
Hudson Javier, as Zach accurately predicted, was in 2nd. Grant Lovelace in 3rd. So remember, you can swim 2 different strokes, and it's up to the coaches to decide which 2 strokes they think are going to be best for the team. Again, sometimes that's not the stroke where you will score the most points, but where it averages out to the most points. Will Boigno over Park Shore is in 2. Bentley Buck from Shadow Moss in 3. Lowell DeWitt from Country Club in 4. Lennon Saravelin from North Charleston in 5. Maddox Chevalier from Country Club in 6. Brooks Morgan for Asheboro in 7. Dylan Tustin from Somerville Y in 8. And Liam Caldwell from Fort Johnson in 9.
If you're at home, it's an accomplishment to make the city meet. It's not or championship meet. It's not an open invitational. As David was talking about limits on events. Kids will remember this. I'm sitting here next to Zach and David. They remember exactly the things that happened. It's a really big deal. And there's lots of different things you can be proud of. Making the relay, placing, making the meet. And these, they could see swimmers older than younger than them, be inspired by people older than them, role model for people younger than them. It's really special. I hope everyone appreciates it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember, as you both know, I was not the best swimmer when I was younger. And I remember very well when I was 14, the note that my summer league coach, Jason's older brother, Eric, wrote for me, like about how, because I'd been waiting to make city meet for so long. I probably still have it somewhere. And it definitely can be special, especially when you've worked for it for a really long time. As we have this heat, Wynn Norton from Hobcaw is in 2, Jeremy Ortiz from North Charleston in 3, Finbar Graber from Northbridge in 4, Francis Lotta from James Island in 5, Whit Pittard from Park Shore in 6, Oscar Lapine from Crowfield in 7, Jack Kometz from Newington in 8, and Miles Bentley from West County in 9.
And to add on that, a personal anecdote, the Post and Courier newspaper used to publish the results of city meet, and usually it was top 20 in individual events. My first year of summer swimming, I was 19th in the breaststroke, and I was so excited to make the newspaper. And so that was just an example of what motivates. Some people get motivated by time, some people get motivated by fun. Sometimes it's the candy at the end of the race. But everybody has a great time, everybody has a blast, and these meets are a great example of that. As the winner in that heat was lane 5, the swimmer from James Island. As we head into the top heat,
33.92 for Francis Lotta. That could place him pretty high. In lane 1, this is James Island's Holden Jickling, the meet record holder in the 9-10 age group. Shep Silver for Sneap Farm in 3, Park Elrod for Hobcaws in 4. Sam Smith, Daniel Island, your top seed in lane 5. In lane 6, Jackson Tidwell, Sneap Farm. Lane 7, Brody Hafner from Crowfield. 8 is Sam Lathan from Shadow Moss. 9 is Finn Gaston from Daniel Island. Really, really tight here.
look at Jickling in lane 1. He's the 9-10 record holder. And we might see some outside smoke here.
We will. Holden Jickling. He's going to get this from lane 2 in 31.13.
We'll see his older sister Issa tomorrow.
Jackson Tidwell was second, and third went to Shep Silver. Sneap Farm goes 2-3 there. So we'll get Holden before a quick break.
Now, we've mentioned a lot of the records here as we're going through, and some of these swimmers you'll see have multiple records. David, Jason, do you know which swimmers currently hold the most records individually in yards in the CCAA format? There are 2 of them.
Avery Freese was one guess. Is that right?
Avery Freese is one.
I'm assuming you would have gotten that as her longtime coach, Jason.
Go, Avery.
Boy or girl?
Girl.
The other one's a girl.
Yes.
Is it Ellie Shalupski?
No.
These meters are back.
We'll come back as Holden is here. So Holden, you were in lane 2, the outside lane. Did you still think you could win that?
Yes, sir.
Why is that?
I won a 31 in the medley relay before this, and it was the best time. So I thought I could win.
How exciting is it when you didn't expect it necessarily, or when you weren't favored to win it?
It was really fun just to see like my friends Keith and Jackson cheering for me, and just like winning. It was really fun.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'll give you a hint, David.
Did Jason get it?
No. He got the overall.
But you said girl.
Yes. So we do have. When I wrote this question, I was referring to the yards records. We do have an overall from the meters records, but since we don't set meters records anymore, I kept that
Was that a Bohan?
That was a Bohan, yes.
Which one?
Micah Bohan holds
overall.
5 records in short course meters. The other swimmer
No, don't tell me.
in yards, would you like a hint, David?
Yes, I would.
A recent graduate meaning 2025, just finished her freshman year swimming for the Ohio State University.
Oh, it's Adair Shaw.
Adair Shaw from Hobcaw. and Avery
And Derek
Freese
Scott. God, how
from
did I
Sneak
not get
Farm
that?
both hold 4
Shout
records.
out to our Mathis Ferry neighbors, Hopcog. Good job, Adair.
How did I not get that?
But
This meet's halfway over.
yes, this meet is halfway over, finishing through the backstroke. We got some score updates. In 19th with 82 points, St. Andrews. 18th with 173, Fort Johnson. 17th with 196, West County. 16th with 222, Legend Oaks. 15th with 245.5, Long Point. 14th with 283.5, Somerville. 13th with 295, Chamelon. 12th with 490. Oh, and they just went away. I'll see if that was Ashboro. I'll see if Meet Mobile, the mobile app, has some live scores. And I'll try to finish it off for us. No, this doesn't necessarily look to be updated. Yeah, they cut me off. I got through 12th place, I think. So we'll see if David can maybe hunt down some printout scores as we get into the breaststroke. Maybe holding out for a minute. But Heat 1, Harper Hand, St. Andrews, lane 3. Adelina Barrett from Legend Oaks in 4. Emerson Yake, Legend Oaks in 5. Sarah Williams, West County, who doesn't appear to be on the blocks, maybe is a late scratch, in lane 6. And Caroline Lindhorst from St. Andrews, lane 7. Still waiting for some live updates of scoring. Oh, and here we go. Sarah's made it to the blocks in lane 6. Breaststroke, probably the most technical stroke. Sometimes you just have to be born a breaststroker, Jason. Would you agree?
Sometimes, yeah. You know, it's neat being in the league long enough. Start to see which teams and coaches are really good at developing swimmers in different strokes and then learning from each other. No one's trying to hide anything. We all want all the swimmers to get better. We want to grow swimming and help people find the love of it. But earlier in the 8 session, I was talking with David that Steve Farm, we'd put them on lounges, and before they put them in the water, manipulate their feet and legs so that they can get the feeling for it, so they don't sear into their minds a body-mind connection about doing something incorrectly with their legs, which viewers at home can't see. There's things that can disqualify you, like turning a foot in that's not visible on the stream. So.
As Caroline from St. Andrews touches first here, waiting for the official time to come up. Her teammate Harper, I believe, was second there. Yep. Caroline Lindhorst, 54.87. Pair of St. Andrews Finns take the heat win and second place in that heat 1.
Zach's right that it takes a lot technically. Also, at these ages, there can be a lot of variation. At Steve Farm, we would call some kids legs breaststrokers. They had an incredible whip kick that could drive them through the water, and we would not, overwork their arms if they could figure out something that was fast with a whip kick. Some kids were balanced between the arms and legs, and some could just pop it with their arms and stay high and drive through the water. And with the Olympics coming up, it'll be interesting for parents and swimmers to see what the latest iteration of international swimmers looks like with breaststroke, because it's fascinating.
That's right. Heat 2, Sadie Henkel from West County in lane 2. Cora Hollingsworth, James Island in 3. Palmer Wood Country Club in 4. Riley McLaughlin, Crowfield in 5. Eliana Gerber from Newington in 6. Mallory Roten from Ashboro in 7. Audrey Logson from Fort Johnson in 8. And Anna Sower from Long Point in lane 9. A lot of changes in breaststroke over the last 20, maybe 30 years. Once upon a time, your head couldn't go underwater during breaststroke.
Yeah, and wearing caps, which most guys didn't do back in the 70s and 80s, and people do now. You lose that sensation of where's your head in connection to the surface of the water. Yeah, I'm glad that's gone.
Yep. And one of the more recent, early 2000s was the off every wall in breaststroke, we do what's called an underwater pullout, where you're allowed one arm pull down past your waist and a kick underwater. In the early 2000s, the officials and across the world found it hard to determine whether the body was just naturally dolphining or if that was an additional. So they allowed one dolphin kick during the pullout. And so you'll see various techniques of when to implement that and what works for each swimmer. As we go into Heat 3, Smithville and Park Shore in 2, Clara Kovac, Northbridge in 3, Maria Schwinn in lane 4 from Shamlaw, and Jordan Fuqua, Hobcaw in lane 5, Hannah Maneker, James Island 6, Ava Park, Somerville in 7, Izzy Dirks, Sneak Farm in 8, and Hadley Atkinson in lane 9 from Hobcaw. David, we were just talking about your favorite stroke, the breaststroke.
I had a coach tell me a few years ago, if breaststroke didn't exist, I wouldn't be coaching because I'd still be swimming professionally. Because then the IM would be only 3 strokes.
As Hannah Maneker from James Island touches first, 47.92. Close race there, right behind Claire Kovac, 3/100ths of a second behind. And Jordan from Hobcaw, 48.0. Very tight heat there in Heat 3.
Claire's younger sister Caroline was 3rd in the 7/8 breaststroke earlier today.
Maybe it runs in the family.
They're both pretty good at all the strokes.
There you go. Waiting for some names to come up here in Heat 4. There we go. Gray Lovelace, Ashboro in lane 2. Ivy Noble from Crowfield in 3. Annalyn Wessler, Somerville in 4. Merritt Wildstein, Country Club in 5. Eden Lode-Holt from Park Shore in 6. Oakland Jacques from Shadowmoss, in lane 7. Charlotte Choi, Long Point in lane 8. And Eleanor Leak from Daniel Island in lane 9.
Got a shout out to see Eleanor Leak in lane 9. Meredith and Grayson Leak. I know those people. Daniel Island, good people.
And it is once again a Shadowmoss Shark taking a big lead here in Heat 3, or excuse me, this is Heat 4. That's Oakland.
Might have to keep an eye on this time here in a second. This will be a 42.83. That'll move way up.
42.83. She drops about 3.5 seconds from entry time. Looking ahead at the top heat, 42.83 would have had her entered as the 4th fastest swimmer. So we could see a time that challenges in the top 10 here. Maybe even top 5. As we get to the last and final heat of breaststroke, Amelia Fries, North Charleston in 2, Harper Lee, Newington in 3, Ruby Muller, Daniel Island in 4, Clara Aikman, your top seed from Shadowmoss in 5, Harbor Hood, Northbridge in 6, Autumn Clevenger, North Charleston in 7, Addison Hibbler, Chamelon in 8, and Eleanor Davis from Sneak Farm in lane 9.
Did you just say our last and final heat? It's both? Isn't that the same thing?
I might have said that, David. I don't know.
2 winners so far. We had Clara Aikman won freestyle, Harbor Hood won butterfly. They square off here, and they are dead even. Oh, Ruby Muller won backstroke. Oh my God, 3 winners here. Harbor Hood trying to become the double winner here. She has a slight lead on Clara Aikman. Wow, 3 winners in 1 heat, and they are 1, 2, 3.
Usually you don't see that kind of action until the IM. But it's going to be Harbor Hood, 38.41.
It's only a half second off the meet record.
Followed closely by Aikman, 39.01. Ruby Muller. So your 3 winners so far went 1, 2, 3. Ruby Muller was 3rd, 40.65. 42.73 was 4th. And then the Shadowmoss swimmer from Heat 4 actually, I think, comes in 5th. 42.83. So shout out to the Shadowmoss Sharks going 2-5. Big points for them. As we move on into 9-10 boys, Olin Tola from St. Andrews lane 4, Finley Shome from Long Point in lane 5, and Maverick Jordan in lane 6 from North Charleston. We do have some updated scores here.
That's as of the end of backstroke, so it does not include those breaststroke results.
Yes, so where I left off was Ashboro was 12th place with 490, 11th place 565.5 Country Club of Charleston, 10th place North Charleston 641, 9th place 781.5 Hobcaw, a half point ahead in 8th place is Crowfield, 7th place 824.5 Newington, 6th place 842.5 James Island, 5th place 957.5 Shadowmoss, 4th place 1040.5 is Northbridge, 3rd place 1056.5 Park Shore, 2nd place 1070 Sneak Farm, and currently leading with 1,165 points your 3-time defending champion Daniel Island.
But these scores will change quickly. For instance, I believe Northbridge has already gone ahead of Park Shore with that win for Harbor Hood in breaststroke. Harbor, you dropped 3 seconds from your time Were you just saving up all season for that?
I don't really know. I guess so, though.
No, don't tell Coach Mike that. So what happened after? Would you get even more excited when you saw Sailor win backstroke?
Yeah.
How did that motivate you for breaststroke?
Well, it just made me feel like I can do it too, just like my sister.
So what do you have to do to get ready for the IM? Because it's going to be pretty competitive against the swimmers who are right behind you there, Clara and Ruby.
I'm really relaxed and have fun and just pump myself up.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
We expected 4 teams to be pretty far ahead of the pack, and we're seeing that. Daniel Island, Sneak Farm, Park Shore, Northbridge, with a almost 80-something point gap back to Shadow Moss. And Shadow Moss is a younger swimmer dominant team, but they're swimming quite well as well.
Yeah, so here we go into Heat 2 here. Cole Wagner, Crowfield in 2. Clement Soderoglu from Ashboro in 3. Bradley Forrester, Long Point in 4. Tanner Yazinski, Legend Oaks in 5. James Treat, Shadow Moss in 6. And a pair of Wahoos from West County, Griffin Wolf Hoover and Lucas Partridge in 7 and 8.
Nice job. So Torigaloo. That's a hard one.
So we've had a lot of Northbridge Killer Whale success rolling through here. Mike Walsh is the most tenured coach in the league, coming up on, I think, 50 years. It's something crazy.
There was a gap.
There's a gap when it went to Ohio State. But, he's taught swim lessons to younger swimmers at Northbridge for decades. And folding people into a really fun, really neat experience, creates a lifetime of swimmers. And that, again, we talked earlier about teachers and other people who have a long-time commitment. Teams, if you've got coaches like that, hang on to them and take care of them. It's invaluable.
There are Northbridge swimmers who Mike taught their parents how to swim, which is crazy to think about.
Yes, but that's why, whether it's Rose at Daniel Island or Jessica at Ashboro or Brad at Shadow Moss and on and on and on, it's a really great gift.
Andrew at James Island.
Andrew at James Island. Got it going on.
Victoria, did you mention her at Newington?
Oh my gosh, yep.
You obviously for a long time at Sneak Farm.
35 years.
So we had a swimmer under the 50-second barrier in that previous heat. That was Tanner Yasinski. In Heat 3, who we got?
Heat 3, Harry Parnell, Hopclaw in lane 2. Wade Loveland, James Island in 3. Gabby Giacomino from Northbridge in 4. August Hills, Legend Oaks in 5. Elliot Walker, James Island in 6. Charles Angelos, Country Club in lane 7. Henry Bragg from Ashburn 8. And Nicholas Levi from Chamelon from Chamelon in lane 9. Tight heat here. It looks like the Legend Oaks Gator, August Hills, taking the lead at 25.
Yep, he's being challenged on either side. Elliot Walker from the James Island Stingrays and Gabby Giacomino from the Northbridge Terrace Killer Whales. Looks like he might be getting caught here. We'll see as they come to the wall. It's Gabby Giacomino in 47.76. That's a 2.5 second drop. And Gabby was actually disqualified in his butterfly, so that's a big bounce back swim for him.
Big move up there for the Killer Whale, as we talked about in the 4-team race. Moving into Heat 4, Mac Hogan from Hopclaw in lane 2, Jack Clemens from Country Club in lane 3, Grady Hodge from Northbridge in lane 4, Charlie Fleming from Park Shore in lane 5, Santiago Nevada from Crowfield in 6, Mason Griffin, Steve Farm in lane 7. And we got a false start there. And we'll have the recall button there. Back in the day, we used to have a false start rope. I don't know if that's used very much anymore anywhere, but now we just have the officials that get there at the other end and
grab them.
them.
Oh my God. He's still going.
But
throw something. There we go.
So we'll, like we did in butterfly earlier, we'll pull them off and re-swim in a few heats.
Did you hear my stream of conscience there?
Yes, David is thinking out loud.
I was across the pool. You might be able to see Kevin Murray, who's one of the excellent pool managers for North Charleston Aquatics. He is so on top of stuff, but I want him to just take his float and throw it at him to get him to stop. Heat 5 will go first.
Yep, so we got to make sure we get the right heat swimmers here. Heat 5, Russell Pierce from Daniel Island in lane 2. Titus Kirsch, Newington in lane 3. Jude Lowe from Park Shore in 4. Chris Lazinski, your top seed from Somerville in lane 5. Peter McCormick, Daniel Island in 6. Ian Boscana, Somerville in lane 7. Ezra Beecham from Newington in 8. And Grayson Tidwell from Sneef Farm in lane 9. Officials telling them to relax, making sure they're the right swimmer for the right heat. It's important.
Looking at the caps, I'm pretty sure they have the right swimmers.
It does appear that way, yes. Newington with 2 swimmers in the top heat. Somerville Y as well. Daniel Island, 2 swimmers in the top heat. That'll really help for their push for a 4th straight victory.
Park Shore almost did. Charlie Fleming, I think he was a swimmer who false started in the last heat, is seated 9th. Only 200ths away from being seated in this heat.
As we're underway here, I thought I might have seen a false start over there, but officials say
it
was clean, so we're off. And the Park Shore swimmer, Jude Lowe, did he win backstroke? He was up there, I think, in the backstroke. But the name is familiar, but he's doing a great job. McCormick from Daniel Island looks to be pushing for 2nd there. And it could be anybody's race for 3rd between Newington and the 2 Somerville Y swimmers. But Jude Lowe is going to unofficially take the victory there, 37-27. Only about 6/10 off the meet record held by Brody Hafner from Crowfield. We'll see him in just a minute in 11:12s. Now we're going to jump back to Heat 4. So again, Hogan, Clemens, Hodge, Fleming, Nevada, Griffin, Watts, and Jacques going from the bottom of your screen to the top. That is lanes 2 through 9. And as David said, I believe there's a graphic overlay. So even if you can't hear or we're doing not a great job of butchering names, or you'll be able to see your favorite swimmer and cheer for them back home. It's all this wonderful technology they have these days. Coach Mike Walsh making sure his swimmer is paying attention and getting up on the blocks.
The 9-10 boys, man. That's why I teach 6th grade, just when they're just old enough that I can reason with them. But there goes Grady.
That's right, 11-12. Let's see, Charlie Fleming touching first of the wall from Park Shore, followed closely by the swimmers on his outside. Nevada and Hodge from Crowfield and Northbridge, respectively. Grady Hodge, that last-second advice from Coach Mike seems to be
get on the blocks?
Working out for him. Yeah, well, David, in order to be successful in your swimming race, you have to be there at the start. So, but Charlie Fleming does get the heat win there, 43-33. And we are here with your winner.
Now official, Jude Lowe, your winner of breaststroke. Sorry, Jude. Let me just check on one thing very quickly. Jude, congratulations. How excited are you to win city meet? What are you thinking about?
I mean, I was real nervous at the start, but I pulled through and I did it.
What were you thinking about specifically during the race? Anything technically, your turns, your start?
I just wanted to go my fastest, make sure that I didn't get DQ'd, just pay attention to all that stuff.
The Piranhas having a really good session here. What is Coach Joe saying to the team? What are you guys saying to each other?
Saying, like, good job and stuff. Coach Joe's really being very supportive, even if we win or lose. Yeah.
He knows a few things about breaststroke, as I recall, as well. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
David, of course, referring to Coach Joe Riddle of Park Shore, a very successful breaststroker in his own right. As Heat 1 is underway here, 3 swimmers, Eliza Bambakova from St. Andrews, lane 4, about a touch for the Heat 1 victory. Catherine Crawford from Legend Oaks and Bianca Thomas from Crowfield. Eliza, 44-43. that could hold up for another heat or two as a Heat 1 swimmer. St. Andrews, most of, or maybe all of their times, a lot of the entry times, no times. So maybe a lot of surprises, maybe not, if you followed them during the season. But here we go into Heat 2. Vivi Harton from Long Point in lane 2. Adeline Clemens, Country Club in 3. Adley Gibbs, Ashburn in 4. Pearl Gaffney, Chamelon in 5. Tilly Kangas, James Island in 6. Macy White, West County in 7. Clara Whitley, Newington in 8. And Meyer Currington, Legend Oaks in 9. So some things to look for on breaststroke. Obviously, we talked about earlier, making sure we're pulling and kicking, simultaneously together. But we don't want to pull and kick at the same time. We really want to always get back to our line, or glide, as some coaches might call it. So making sure to pull and extend, and then once you're in the line, kicking forward, reaching for that other wall. As Tilly from James Island is going to touch first, 42.70. Followed by Claire from Newington, the Tiger Sharks.
All right, shout out to Monica Walker in lane 9. Her dad was a big-time swimmer back in the day. Matt Walker swims for Fort Johnson. Wishing her well here.
There's some legacy swimmers of the CCAA. The league has been around for a number of years, so it's bound to happen. You might even have some multiple generations of swimmers.
It's the 59th championship meet. Well, 58th because of COVID.
And I don't know, I'm sure there are probably more than I'm about to list off. Isla Yadigan, daughter of Bora. I think he has another child here. Bora, the former coach, swim coach at C of C, also was the aquatics director here at North Charleston for a while. We also have, speaking of North Charleston, in lane 5, that's Avery Schrader. Her older sister Peyton graduated last year. She is now coaching. She's around here somewhere. We also have Amelia Prito for Ashboro in 2, Mackenzie Mullen from Country Club in 3, Summer Antley in lane 4 for Somerville Y, Ann Louise Schumann from Park Shore in 6, Annabelle Pierce in lane 8 for Daniel Island, and we mentioned Walker, Schrader, and Yadigan. It is going to be Ann Louise Schumann in 40.18.
It's a strong time heading into heat, the last 2 heats there. And the Park Shore swimmer. Man, those Park Shore swimmers are just doing a great job with breaststroke.
Well, think about who their coaches are. Joe and Cassidy. I mean, that makes sense.
Breaststroke for them it's been since the 90s. I mean, that's been their stroke for decades.
That's right. Always had strong breaststrokers. Rob Olson.
I was thinking about him.
Park Shore.
Heat 4, Amara Swain for Northbridge in 2, Emerson Watson from Park Shore in 3. In lane 4 is Addie Griffin from Snee Farm. In lane 5, Teddy Calhoun from Snee Farm. 6 is Ryland Sam from Shadow Moss. 7 is Ellie McClure from Northbridge. 8, Reagan McManus from North Charleston. 9 is Elise Schnell from West County. Park Shore, Emerson Watson. You know who her father is?
Andrew Watson.
Andrew Watson,
Another
yeah.
former city champion breaststroker for the Park Shore Piranhas.
He has twins. They look exactly like him. It's incredible. Addie Griffin from Snee Farm, the 2 Snee Farm swimmers right there. Coming to the wall, she gets there in 38.42.
Funny enough, that was actually the next
Sorry.
breaststroker I was going to
Excuse
list
me.
from Park Shore.
Griffin was first in 38.23. Second went to McClure in 38.42.
As we head into our last heat here, lane 2, Lila Kate Arntz from Newington in lane 2, Emma Suit from Somerville in 3, Mary Sims DeHole Hopcon in 4, her teammate Leah Carrico is the top seed in lane 5, Gabriella Ross from Chamelon in 6, Libby Scott Rosiak from Daniel Island in 7, Abigail Cornegay from Shadow Moss in 8, and Bella Bourne-Fleth from Crowfield in lane 9. Shadow Moss is also a team that had a lot of strong breaststrokers. But we'll see. It looks to be Carrico from Hopcaw, even going into the first 25 wall, has taken an early lead.
Carrico is the one whose 37.92 record in 9.10s just barely held up today. But she's leading this heat right now.
Avery Freese, as we talked about earlier, one of her records she holds is 11-12 gross breaststroke, 31.69.
That's not going anywhere.
That is not going anywhere, although not too far off, only about a second, little less than 2 seconds off of the breaststroke record. Of course, Avery was a phenomenal breaststroker, just finished up her sophomore year of college swimming at the University of Tampa. where she was an NCAA qualifier and member of some relays. As we move on to the boys 11-12 breaststroke, I'll give off the names. Heat 1, Timothy Lee from Long Point in lane 4. Colin Hinkle from West County lane 5, his teammate Nathan Fugel in lane 6. And Ted Dasher from Fort Johnson in lane 7. This is our last event of the meet that gives out a memorial award. This is the Shane Moore Award. And I was fortunate enough and honored to win this one back many, many years ago, 2014. And it's just a great story. I think Jason's got a heat sheet over here, and we used to print the stories of behind these awards.
Yeah, Shane and I were the same age. He got into swimming a little bit late. For all the parents and friends at home, you can start swimming whenever. I know at Steve Farm we had plenty of swimmers who in the later part of their career maybe started as 13-year-olds. Shane started as 11 because having asthma and swimming indoors, the feeling was that moist air was gonna be beneficial for you as an asthmatic. And within months, he became the best breaststroker in the state. And at the age of 17, I think he was the number 2 ranked breaststroker in America, and was insane. And swimming him was breathtaking because he would be so far ahead of you so quickly. But he was stricken with Hodgkin's lymphoma in high school, and always had a steadfast spirit and took it on. And I think he went into remission for a little while. He coached Asheboro and swam there. And then the cancer came back and spread. And ultimately, it claimed him. But the North area, again, where Tri-County League honored him with the Shane Moore Invitational for years. And it's important that we bring up these stories about people who are critical to the league's history. So we're thinking of Shane and his family, Ryan and all of them today.
That's right. Heat 2 here underway. Diego Espinoza, Asheboro in lane 2. McCarthy Smith, Newington in lane 3. Cruz Triplet, Country Club in 4. Brady Zienski, Legend Oaks in 5. Liam Caldwell from Fort Johnson in 6. William Todorin from Hopco in 7. Edmonds Brown from Shadow Moss in 8. Logan Swigert from Legend Oaks in lane 9. It's going to be Uzinski from Legend Oaks in lane 5 with the win here, as we have the winner here of 11-12 breaststroke.
11-12. Aaliyah, congratulations. How excited are you to win city meet yet again?
It feels really good. I mean, I'm really thankful to all my teammates and my coaches. They've all been really, really nice. And everyone's just like pumping each other up, so yeah.
Been a fairly strong day for Hobcaw. We've been asking a lot of the winners, what are you seeing in your team? What is everyone saying to each other, getting each other fired up to swim fast?
Well, everyone's just kind of saying to each other, like, you got it, and just you're going to do great and everything, so yeah.
You have the IM?
Yes, sir.
What's your key to the IM?
Breaststroke. Just like,
sounds about right.
Yeah, just like I try my best every time, so.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
And we have Heat 3 now of the boys 11-12 breaststroke. Jack Kometz from Newington is in 2. Ryan Canning, Shadow Moss in 3. Wyatt Walker, James Island in 4. Jeremy Ortiz, North Charleston in 5. Braxton Newland, Country Club in 6. Stellan Bazzelli, Long Point in 7. Lennon Servalon, North Charleston in 8. Connor Houghton, Sneef Farm in 9. And another big swim for Shadow Moss, man. 39.17 for Ryan Canning.
And like David pointed out there, another Shadow Moss shark with an excellent breaststroke swim. Shout out to an old breaststroke swimmer from Shadow Moss, Justin Lawrence, who I used to race. I believe still holds the 8 and under 25-meter breaststroke record, and possibly some more as well.
Speaking of people we've given shout-outs to, I got a text from Kaysen Brown a few minutes ago. He said the shout-out made his day. Yeah, I mean, I still swim masters with him sometimes. Kaysen knows I still pick on him for pushing off the wall, even though it worked. Jake Solinsky from Asheboro in 2. Bradley Winograd from Daniel Island in 3. Harper James from Park Shores in 4. Haynes O'Hara from James Island in 5. Andrew Carr, Shyamalan in 6. Gibbs Cowart from Northbridge in 7. Grady Smith, Sneef Farm in 8. Ethan Hart, Shyamalan in 9.
Meet record here held by Hayward Leuschinger from Northbridge, set last year.
We'll
see him tomorrow competing in 13-14s. 31.53 might be a tough one to get today.
Yeah, very.
Your top swimmer seated in the next heat, Nicholas Evans, as Gibbs Cohort takes the win there, 38-33.
Tie. There's a tie.
Excuse me, a tie. Gibbs and Harper James from Park Shore, the two closest teams in the league, existing about half a mile apart. As we'll go into Heat 5, Charlie Madison, Daniel Island, Blake Williams, Crowfield, Jonah Tucker, Park Shore, Nicholas Evans, top seed from Northbridge, Brody Hafner from Crowfield, lane 6, William Ryder from Somerville in lane 7, his teammate CJ Frederick in lane 8, and Park Elrod from Hobcott in lane 9.
That was a close one, and you're right, barely separated by across the street from each other, essentially.
That's right. And when David and I used to swim on Park Shore, we would actually march over. I'm not sure if that tradition still carries on.
Sometimes, yeah. Evans trying to become another Northbridge winner in this event, just like Hayward was last year.
He's challenged on his right by Brody Hafner, who is the 9-10 record holder from 2 years ago.
Who is going to get to the wall first here? It's going to be Nick Evans in 33-35. 0.3 of a second, he gets the win. Hafner is second, and Tucker is third.
So Nicholas Evans from Northbridge will continue a line of Northbridge Terrace killer whales that have been honored with the Shane Moore Awards. Myself, as I mentioned, Sean Graber, Hayward. Did I miss anybody, David? At least since we've converted to yards in the last 12 years. David's running names through his head in years.
You have to. I mean, that has to be it.
But he'll be presented with an award this afternoon, or do they do it tomorrow?
He'll get it eventually.
He'll get it eventually. He'll get a nice plaque, and he'll be honored with that award. But yeah, we've mentioned a couple times that we've talked about yards and meters. For the first 40 or so years, the city championship was held in 25-meter pools. And since 2014, we've been held in 25 yards. So we've kept a separate set of records as we get the winner, Nick, over here.
Nick, first time winning city meet, right? How's it feel?
Good.
Why are you so excited?
Because my mom and probably sister are watching me.
What has been the thing you've thought about the most as you've worked through this year trying to get better and win that race?
Focus on goals mostly.
What goals?
Like try to beat my killer whales time for my leaderboard, or just try to be in the states.
Yeah. Well, congrats, Nick.
Thank you.
So, as I was saying, since 2014, we've held records in yards. So a lot of the newer times will have been reset. But just one more tidbit about Shane Moore. He held the record for over 20 years in the 11-12 boys breaststroke from the 1980s to, I think, 2007 when it was broken by Zach Learley from Dunes West. But that just shows the testament of what kind of caliber athlete he was. As we're announcing some scores and results before we head into the individual medley. IM individual medley for short. We do 1 length of butterfly, 1 length of backstroke, 1 length of breaststroke, 1 length of freestyle. All stroke rules must be followed during that length. And this is the distance race of the Summer League at 100 yards. It's twice the length of most individual events. And this is where we really see a lot of the event winners come together. You've got your strengths, you've got your breaststroke, your butterfly, your backstroke, your freestyle winners. They'll usually play to their strengths in an IM, and you can get a lot of great races back and forth. Your front end swimmers, your fly and backstroker swimmers usually be out strong. Breaststroke swimmers like to come off the pace a little bit. I was always a strong breaststroker, so had to. And as David pointed out earlier, not as strong backstroker, so usually having to come from behind, which can be fun sometimes. Sometimes it seems a little daunting when you turn over for breaststroke and you see somebody halfway down the pool ahead of you. As I'm looking at Jason, I'm thinking of some of his former swimmers like Charles Blanc and Hayden Condra that I used to race all the time.
Oh, look at that.
Very strong on the front end, strong butterfly and backstroker, city champions in multiple races of those. Noah Davey, another Sneak Farm swimmer that I used to race a lot, although he was a strong breaststroker. So
Pulling out the yearbook. You're doing good work.
pulling out the yearbook.
Pulling out the yearbook.
As we get started here, heat 1 of 9-10 girls IM. I believe it's actually 10 and under. You can swim this event as long as you're legal. Lane 3, Caroline Lindhorst from St. Andrews. Lane 4, Adeline Reike from Legend Oaks. Lane 5, Helen Huber from Fort Johnson. Lane 6, Emery Mims, Crowfield. Lane 7, Emerson Yake from Legend Oaks. And Lane 8, Annalise Lindhorst from St. Andrews. I'm going to guess that Caroline and Annalise are related. Same last name, same team. A strong bet.
Yeah, you mentioned Hayden Condry. We had to have him swim the 9-10 IM as an 8-year-old, and he got top 15 and won our Coaches Cup because it was real, he was a little truculent at that age, but he did it, and it was, it required some extra work to become good at the IM. Here also, the CCAA wants swimmers and families to enjoy summer swimming. And for some, it becomes a pathway to more. Maybe it's high school swimming, maybe it's year-round swimming. But even in the 11-12s, kids who've never swum year-round, if they have been coached well, this isn't a 200 IM. They can have smart turns and good streamlines and stuff, and do really well. And so it's exciting. It's a healthy summer swim league only for some swimmers, but also year-round swimmers. Some of them swim year-round to do well at this meet this weekend. So it's got a lot of things for everybody. And I admire your memory. You're on it.
As Caroline Lindhorst down in lane 3 from St. Andrews taking heat 1 here, although a close race with Emery Mims from Crowfield, lane 6. The Killer Waves, one of the few non-animal mascots in the league. Excuse me, non-fish. Most of them are animals. Crowfield is the Killer Waves. But we've got sharks, we got stingrays, we got some dolphins in this heat. Fins, gators being a non-fish, alligator. Heading to heat 2. Mary Mullins, Long Point, lane 2. Eleanor Ross, Chamelon in lane 3. Liberty Hine and Ashburn, lane 4. Elizabeth Burris, Country Club, lane 5. Ivy Noble from Crowfield in 6, Charlotte Choi, Long Point in 7, Miriam Fugel, West County, lane 8, and Julia Souza from Fort Johnson, lane 9. So your Heat 1 winner there, that was Lindhorst, demonstrating some great technique across all 4 strokes. And that's really what we look for at this age. Trying to set up the foundations, because at the younger age, it's a lot easier to mold and make corrections, at least in my opinion. It's a little bit harder as you get older to make those changes. Maybe you're getting a little bit more stubborn as you get older. Younger swimmers a little bit more willing to try new things. Not to say that older swimmers can't do that, but we really want to set the foundations earlier on. And that's the great thing. We mentioned a number of times, we have a lot of educators in the league. That's their job. They know how to educate and communicate and instruct the young students of the Tri-County area, so it's only natural for them to do that in the pool. Mary Mullins from Long Point had the lead at the halfway point, headed into breaststroke. Looks like Eleanor from Chamelon has a strong breaststroke. She's really holding out her glide and riding her kick, as we say, and pulling into the lead here. So we got the Chamelon swimmer down here in lane 3, as well as up at the top of the pool. That is a West County Wahoo, Miriam Fugel. Excuse me if I'm saying that name wrong. But Country Club of Charleston, Elizabeth Burris really came out of nowhere, unless I was just not seeing her. But she had a strong freestyle to take the heat win, 136.62. The heat sheet has her listed as Birdie. That must be a nickname. We've got a few nicknames snuck in there.
Did you know the all-time best nickname put into City Beach heat sheet before?
Beef Walsh is a good one. I don't know if that's what you're referring to.
Yes, thinking of you, Ben Walsh, with beef.
David is shaking his head. David, what do you think the best nickname is ever?
Coach Mike is known for some of this. Chuckaroo Bradley, Batwood Atwood. You remember those?
I do remember those. Jason, what is your opinion on nicknames? And what do you feel the best nickname you've seen is?
I would say beef, but teams have their traditions. I will say that around the time that Chris Matthews' record would come up for Northbridge Terrace, the Northbridge coaches would put on their "Where's Chris Matthews?" and I helped them find Chris Matthews in North Carolina. Really funny stuff. I know that Steve Farm in the late 80s and early 90s had some really good ones. Eric Liebetrau. I would go, Liebetrau, ow, ow, ow! Logan Sea Monster. Some good ones. But I never put him in the heat sheet.
I want to give a shout out to someone who's working several different roles this meet, Mr. David Parler, who is right in front of us right now. He's an official. He was working as a coach this morning for West County, and he's actually going to be the starter tomorrow. So a lot of hats for some people here at City Meet.
That's right. Long-time member of the league here.
Various teams as well, yeah.
Various teams. James Island, Fort Johnson, now West County.
Sally Schumann for Park Shore there in this third heat.
And just add in, Jason mentioned Chris Matthews. I believe held the longest standing city record from 1979 to 2013 in the boys 7-8 25 backstroke.
Remember who broke it?
Brady Newton, and then last year the JCC broke it by about a tenth as Sally Schumann from Park Shore touches first in that heat, 126.
Park Shore actually goes 1-2 there. I believe Alex Pomeranz was second.
We'll have to wait for the unofficial time. Yep, so 1979 to 2013 for those counting at home. 34 years as the fastest backstroker in the city. Heat 4 here. I am Presley Harrington, Newington, lane 2. Kiera Barden, Shadow Moss in 3. Sadie Malcolm, Snee Farm in 4. Elena Fall, Snee Farm in lane 5. Merritt Wildstein, Country Club in 6. Mary D. Edmonds, Hobcar in lane 7. Sloan Merritt, Newington in lane 8. Ellis Austin from Somerville Y in lane 9. City record here set last year by Harbor Hood, 1:15.57. We've got a few. Harbor Hood actually won it last year and set the record as a 9-year-old. She's a top seed in last heat with a 1:18, looking to go a PB and hopefully re-break her own record.
And we should note here, we've got all the main stars from this age group. Ruby Muller from Daniel Island won backstroke, was on the winning medley relay. Harbor won butterfly and breaststroke, and Clara Aikman won freestyle. They are the top 3 seeds, as one would expect.
It's like the Clash of the Titans. As we have the Snee Farm swimmers leading the pack here, Sadie and Elena. Riding that glide, riding the kick, as I mentioned earlier. And if you touch first in breaststroke and you start swimming freestyle, you can double your lead. You're going from the slowest stroke for most to the fastest stroke for most. And Sadie has done a great job of that with a body length lead hanging onto the flags over Kiera from Shadow Moss. Sadie's going to have your top time, 1:26.20, just touching under the Park Shore swimmer from the last heat.
Yeah, that's just a little bit faster. So Park Shore, Schumann is second right now. The other Park Shore swimmer, who was Pomeranz, will move up as well, as we have our fast heat. Who's in it?
Heat 5, your fastest heat of the IMers. Nina Altum from Daniel Island 2, Peggy Lotta from James Island 3, Ruby Muller from Daniel Island in 4, Harbor Hood, Northbridge in lane 5, Clara Aikman, Shadow Moss in 6, Lily Murphy from North Charleston in 7, Millie Jane Welker from Northbridge in 8, and Amelia Fries from North Charleston in lane 9. So looking for those event winners to really shine in their specialties. As Harbor Hood touches first in butterfly.
She doesn't really have a weak stroke. Like, she didn't swim backstroke, but she could have and been right there. Her Northbridge teammate Millie Jane Welker is also looking pretty good toward the top. As you'd expect, Ruby Muller coming through. You expect Clara's going to have a really good back half. I've also already gotten a hard time from one of her brothers for the joke I made earlier about her being better behaved and her saying she was going to be a better swimmer. There goes Harbor Hood. Pretty big advantage here. Again, that time we're looking for is 1:15.57, the record she set last year. Clara Aikman in second, and Ruby Muller third, as you would expect. But here they come.
And Harbor Hood is just pulling away, but Clara Aikman from Shadowmoss really putting on the kick there to finish second.
1:14.75, a new meet record. The second one today, or for her? Did she already break one?
No, and it's not second overall. We had
We've had a
freestyle
couple.
and we had butterfly.
We've had a couple. First girls record, maybe? TBD.
I believe first girls record. Harbor Hood breaks her own record, defends her title.
Clara Aikman second, Ruby Muller third.
And as we'll go into the last individual, last individual 9-10 event of the day.
The last individual 9-10 individual event that will be held before the hour of 4 o'clock.
I'll just keep qualifying the statement so I can be correct.
Nice.
Heat 1 of 9-10 boys, we got 3 swimmers, Griffin Wolf, Hoover, West County in lane 4, and a pair of Fort Johnson, Dolphins, Hudson, Logson, and Caleb Rose. As mentioned, Fort Johnson coming off of a year hiatus, they were redoing their pool. A very young team, so look for them in the coming years if they can continue to not only build from the younger ages up, but as those kids age up, Fojo, they'll continue to make their presence known.
Harbor, another win, a city record. How excited are you to break your own record from last year?
I'm super excited, yeah.
You obviously you had 2 people who you'd race, Ruby and Clara. What were you thinking about them at all, or were you just trying to go fast?
I was trying to go fast and just make sure to beat them.
Well, it worked out. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Lane 3, Hudson from Fort Johnson had the lead at 50. Although his teammate Caleb is catching up to him on his left shoulder as he takes a peek and looks at him, make sure he knows who's coming for him. Some people are motivated by races, and they need somebody next to them. They need to feel the pressure. Some people like to be out front. Some people like to be by themselves. Others like to have some competitors. As we're getting some friendly hellos, Coach Billy Buck on his way back to coach's side. Caleb Rose has taken the lead now with about half a lap to go on Heat 1. And they'll touch the wall, waiting for official times. We got places right, we're waiting for times. Looks like some drops, some season bests there in Heat 1.
For all of them by a lot.
All of them by a lot. That's what you love to see. You love to see those big drops. Really can move up and challenge for some scoring positions. Heat 2, Henry Bragg from Ashboro in lane 2, Jasper George Legend Oaks in 3, Charles Angelos from Country Club in 4, Sullivan Yates from Hopcon in lane 5, his teammate Grant Joner in lane 6, Hogan Harris from Ashboro in lane 7, Bradley Forrester from Long Point in lane 8. And we're getting some updated scores here through the end of breaststroke. At the next event break, we'll bring those in. Pair of Marlins from Hopcott touched first at the 50. That was Sullivan and Grant. Jasper from Legend Oaks in lane 3 challenging, as well as Hogan from Ashboro in lane 7. Making sure on breaststroke and butterfly we're touching them all with 2 hands. And then push it off in a nice tight streamline as Sullivan has really pulled away on breaststroke and is extending his lead on freestyle. He's going to set a new season best time, 1:36.29. The top time here through 2 heats. Heat 3 coming here pretty quickly. Fisher Heinen from Chamelon in lane 2, Jimmy Nolan, Shadow Moss in lane 3, Elliott Walker, James Island in 4, August Hills, Legend Oaks in 5, Jack Clemens, Country Club in 6, Sullivan Watts, North Charleston in 7, Gabby Jackamew, Northbridge in 8, and Palmer Jacques from Shadow Moss in lane 9. Four 9-year-olds, 4 10-year-olds, so some youth, some experience.
They're all young.
In terms of the 9-10 age group.
They're all young.
But some of these 10-year-olds, and maybe some of the 9-year-olds, might have done the IM last year. They've got that experience of swimming IM in the city meets and at many of the dual meets. August from Legend Oaks has taken a commanding lead on the first lap here at Butterfly.
You've been mentioning it, but you really don't want to have a weak stroke, but you got to have breaststroke, especially at this age.
That's right, especially in a distance race like this. And
race.
I say distance.
Literally 2 distance swimmers right here.
Yes, for Summer League, the 100 IM is twice the distance as the 50. So you've got to be able to hold your technique for each 25 and not fatigue.
Well, I forgot to tell you my stupid breaststroke story. I'll have to share that tomorrow. Remind me.
I'll remind you, David. But you got to be able to hold your form, and so you have to have a little bit of endurance for each stroke, so as not to wear yourself out in butterfly and backstroke, to be able to close well in breaststroke and freestyle. Even if those aren't your best strokes, you've still got to be able to hold your own, so that it doesn't become a liability.
I think one thing that people sleep on is the importance of having that kick in freestyle. We see a lot of these guys in this heat really being able to turn to their legs. That makes a huge difference down the stretch.
That's right, August from not Long Island, I'm going to say that again. Legend Oaks, the Gators in lane 5, touching first, 1:25.12, followed by Jackamew from Northbridge. In second place there, we got 2 under 130, headed into heat 4. Grady Hodge from Northbridge, hopefully he gets him on the blocks this time. In lane 2, Samuel Klingeman, Long Point in lane 3. Sam Doty from North Charleston in lane 4. Russell Pierce from Daniel Island in lane 5. Ezra Beecham, Newington in lane 6. Garvey Kangas from James Island, lane 7. I think he won one of the races earlier.
Yep, butterfly.
He won butterfly. Bennett Gaillard from Newington, lane 8, and Santiago Nevada from Crowfield, lane 9. So lane 7, Garvey from James Island, look for him to take a strong lead early on. Although we've got some great butterflyers in this heat as well.
Cannot believe you went there with Grady. That's good. Well done.
Yep, and as expected, Garvey from James Island taking a big lead on the butterfly.
Pretty tight, though.
Pretty tight. Closing on backstroke, we got Grady down here in 2, and Ezra from Newington right next to him with the shark cap.
And these back-to-breast turns, they can make or break a race, right? Because you see some people touch the wall, then turn themselves around. It just isn't pretty. But the better you can do that, get off that wall, details matter so much.
That's right, and thankfully we're inside nowadays for the last 6 years. But if you're outside swing backstroke, like 90% of these league teams are during the year, if you get it on a windy day, you've got to account for that in warm-up and make sure you're not smashing in or too far away from the wall. Something I have done at both of those, crunching fingers or being too far away from the wall on a back-to-breast turn.
I want to hear more about maybe some of Jason's thoughts on that turn, as we get a tight race here, but it will be Beecham that holds on in 1:24.76. Haj is second in 1:25.52.
Back-to-breast turn. Importance.
Yeah, it makes me think of a swimmer back in the mid-'90s named Bucky Buchanan, who later on became a coach for Steve Farm and swam for the College of Charleston. We swam Park Shore early that year. He was either 10 or maybe he was 12, and lost to these really nice but good boys from Park Shore. He was committed to trying to make a run at him in the city meet like a month later. So I would come early to practice, and he would do 2 or 3 before practice to work on things like that. Because it is such a short race. It's 90, 95 seconds for the good ones. And all those little things matter, like a good back-to-breast turn and a good streamline. And so even non-year-round swimmers can improve just through some extra effort. And these lessons get pushed out into the rest of your life about thinking about something and working hard on it.
Apologies if I missed this, Jason. What was your strategy for teaching the back-to-breast turn? What would you tell them to focus on? Because there's a lot of ways to do it.
This is where it was sometimes not good to have older kids who were doing all sorts of exotic turns that they might have picked up in year-round swimming. Well, and so they're looking up to them. And for non-year-round swimmer 9, 10, 11, 12s, you mandated that they had to do what we would call an open turn and get a breath and swivel their hand around so they could grab the wall as best they could, so they could get an underwater cycle, as Zach was talking about earlier. That's critical to get something good coming off the wall. You have to take a breath.
I'm going to butt in here with Peter McCormick from Daniel Island coming into the flags. He is going to obliterate the city record. He goes 1:13.20, taking 4.5 seconds off the record set by Finn Gaston last year.
That's incredible.
1:13.20. He wins that race by 6 seconds, over 6 seconds, over Jude Lowe, the swimmer from Park Shore. Again,
That was amazing. Amazing.
that was a great swim. Just a masterclass of technique and speed, all combining into one for the IM. It was a great victory there, and congratulations on a new record. Do you have the scores, David? We'll get some scores up through breaststroke.
So these were the scores again through breaststroke, not accurate currently. St. Andrews in 19th place with 87 points. Fort Johnson in 18th with 182. West County in 17th with 219.5 points. 16th, Legend Oaks, 269. Just ahead of them is Long Point, 272.5. Chamalon is in 14th at 371. Somerville Y in 13th, 399.5 points. Ashboro is in 12th with 577. Country Club of Charleston is in 11th, 641. North Charleston sits 10th, 750. Hobcon 9th, 909.5. Crowfield 8th, 912. Newington 7th, 937.5. 6th is James Island, swimming pretty well, 941. 5th is Chatham, still hanging in there with 1,105 points. Then a big jump, Sneef Arm in 4th at 1214. 9 points ahead of them, the Park Shore Piranhas with 1223 points. 11.5 points ahead of them, those were the Northbridge Sheriffs Killer Whales with 1223. Park Shore Piranhas have 1234.5. Daniel Island is about 115.5 points ahead of Park Shore, going for a 4th straight title with 1350 points. And we're joined by the latest meet record breaker, Peter McCormick. You just smashed a city record by 4 seconds. How cool is that?
That's really great. I feel so happy about it.
Did you know what the record was? Were you thinking about that for a while?
Yes, it was a 1:17 by Finn Gaston.
And what did you do to beat that record?
I just went out fast on the fly. I just stayed strong on the back and just breaststroke, just pull and freestyle, just put your head down.
Well, it was dominant. Congratulations. Go get ready for the relay.
What?
Go get ready for the relay.
Shout out all my coaches. Thank you.
Shout out to the Daniel Island coaches.
That is what we in the business like to refer to as swimflation. Times are just getting so fast these days.
Yeah, we haven't had a lot of meet records this year, though.
No records this morning, but I believe that makes 4 so far this afternoon, 4 or 5. There have been years where no records have been set. There have been years where every record has been set.
When were no records set? I don't think that's true.
A couple years ago, so in year-round in high school, there are these things called technical swimsuits. And a few years back, the
no
league
one
decided
wore
to.
that many of them in summer
the league
league
did
anyway.
decide to get rid of them, and so I believe a year or two after that, there was maybe a pause in some records.
I'm not sure that's true, but anyway.
It was at least until the later sessions. Definitely in the younger ages, there were not as many records. I
Again,
recall.
there weren't today.
Maybe
so
my memory is not serving me well.
You are getting old, Zach.
That's right. Although, we're going into the girls 11-12 medley, Heat 1, Cora Rogers, St. Andrews, Vivi Harton, Long Point, Madeline Cushing Crowfield, and Eliza Bambakova from St. Andrews. As we see the swimmers coming onto the flags here, touch of the 50. Pretty close race here between Vivi and Eliza. Looks like Eliza got the touch there first. As we head into breaststroke. Every now and then you'll see a hand from one of our blue-shirted officials go up, which means the swimmer has been preliminarily disqualified.
Preliminarily disqualified.
Preliminarily disqualified. So that might be a stroke infraction or a turn. Like I said, we've got to observe all the rules of each stroke during the IM. So it can be challenging sometimes. Maybe your nerves get to you, or you come in long on a stroke, or your hands just twitch a little bit. You get a little uneven touch. But as of now, unofficially, Heat 1, Vivi Harton, 131.41. Might have been a soft touch there by Eliza. Time is waiting to be updated. Oh, close race there. Eliza Bambakova, 131.96 for St. Andrews.
So, Jason, do you have any great memories of IM? Or you mentioned one earlier. More great memories of IM swims at City Meet that maybe were just big momentum swims, or someone had a big comeback or something like that. Anything that really stands out to you from your time?
Zach does a good job of keeping track of these records, and you too. You know, the league's got records through 2014 that were meters, and then everything since then is yards. So those meters ones are frozen in time, like Micah Bohan, the greatest swimmer as far as records ever. A swimmer named Randy Buchanan, Bucky's brother, when the City Meet dropped like 2 seconds in the IM and broke a minute in meters. And it was
We'll see people under a minute tomorrow, but not. This is yards.
Yeah, it was just insane. But it was 2006. Yeah.
I believe that is the only swimmer in league history to ever break a minute in the 100 IM.
Yeah, it was.
I don't believe so. We'll have to check the tapes, you know.
But no, you know, David and Zach, we see and coaches see swimmers who have, that in a meet like this, they're just going to be gritty. And then they can apply that to the rest of their life as they go forward about being resilient about college or whatever occupation they choose. But then emotion plays a role too. Like, you're talking about putting strokes together. They don't know each other. They're not in a community pool where it's only 6 lanes. If they see they're behind, some of them can't logically address that, and they'll just deflate. There's just so many things that coaches and parents and mentors have to help them come to terms with as they swim the IM.
And on the other side of that, some step into this big grand stage and are fueled by it.
Yes.
And are excited by the hundreds of fans in the stands, and the hundreds or thousands more watching at home. And they really have those elevated performances like we just saw in the boys 9-10 IM. as
Yeah, Peter McCormick's swim was crazy amazing.
Peter McCormick
Go DI.
won in that race. As we go to Heat 3.
That race won by Colette Scarano from Newington in 1:22.27. Zoe Heinen from Ashboro taking second there. Sorry, she was third. It was actually Birdie Adams taking second.
Heat 3, Emmy Jones, Shadow Moss in lane 2, Noella Smith, Daniel Island 3, Jane Murphy, Country Club in 4, Scarlett Sykes, Sneak Farm in 5, Cora McIntosh, James Island in 6, her teammate Ayla Yadigan in 7, Elise Schnell, West County in 8, and Amelia Prieto from Ashboro in lane 9. And we've got Scarlett in the middle from Sneed Farm, taking a good early lead. Looks to be maybe Daniel Island and Country Club down here in 3 and 4, following behind.
This is a pretty good heat for Heat 3 out of 5.
Well, like we talked about earlier, you can swim 2 individuals and the IM. So a lot of those strong swimmers that might have been in Heat 4 or 5 of an individual event are all coming together, and there's more swimmers now.
Absolutely.
Scarlett Sykes from Sea Farm had the lead at the 50.
It's a big lead,
and
too.
She's got a strong breaststroke, just pulling away from her nearest competitors, which seems to be a line behind her from about 3 swimmers.
Turning for home there. It's going to take a 1:12.92 would have been seated tied for 10th. I don't think she's going to go that fast, but certainly putting herself in position to move up here.
.1:16.76. She wins that heat by over 5 seconds there, so really a big drop.
Oh, so close. Almost 5 seconds. I thought lane 4 had
about 4.5 seconds there.
And that is Jane Murphy from the Country Club at 1:21.55 with your second best time so far. And Schnell moves into the 3rd spot.
Moving on to Heat 4, your swimmers seated 9th through 16th. Wait till the names come on the board. Lane 2, Abigail Cornegate, Shadow Moss. Lane 3, Reagan McManus, North Charleston. Millie Aker from Chamelon's in 4, Avery Brown from Somerville's in lane 5, Bella Schuler from Sneed Farm in 6, Gabriella Ross from Chamelon in 7, Mary Sims de Hole Hobcaw in lane 8, and Lila Kate Arntz from Newington in lane 9.
Sneed Farm's got to like what's happening here, putting together some 2 back-to-back good swims potentially from Sykes and Schuyler. They had actually fallen to 4th place at the last check, but it's so tight, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th right now. Ridiculously tight.
Out in lane 9, that's Arntz from Newington. That Tiger Shark cap leading the way at the 50.
Does she have the breaststroke? Coming through now, that is Schuyler. In lane 7 is Ross.
Top of your pool, dominating this heat, lanes 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Agreed.
But that is going to be Schuyler, Bella Schuyler from Sneed Farm, pulling away in this heat to touch first, set the new top time, 1:11.67, heading into the last heat.
Yeah, Bella and Scarlett.
Arntz from Newington was 2nd, Ross from Chamelon 3rd, and DeHole from Hobcaw in 4th. 1, 2, 3, 4 in that heat. That'll be the top times heading to the last heat here.
And definitely in a position to move up here. This last heat, 3 winners today.
Pomerantz, Hood, Perico.
Right, because Kara Pomerantz won free and fly, set the record in free. Sailor Hood won backstroke, and Leah Carrico won breaststroke. Sailor's younger sister Harbor, already a 3-time champion today. The record 1:03.33, one of the many Avery Freese records that we don't see being challenged here.
Emma Suit from Somerville in lane 2, Libby Scott Rosiak, Dandelion in 3, Kara Pomerantz, Park Shore in 4, Sailor Hood, Northbridge in lane 5, Leah Creco Hopcon 6, Lucy Wilhoit Park Shore in 7, Tessa Ray Northbridge in 8, Bo Henderson from North Charleston Lane 9. The early leaders, Pomerantz and Hood.
Pomerantz was there after fly. Saylor had the best backstroke, but I don't think either of these two are breaststrokers, so we'll see how this race changes.
So watch lane 6, watch Carrico from Hopgosh. She was the breaststroke winner. And Daniel Islands from Rosiak, she's got a good breaststroke as well down here in 3. Could be a dark horse for a top 3 finish.
I think it's between Hood and Pomerantz here. Let's see if Saylor can hang on. Carrico, oh no, Carrico had a nice swim there, a nice split there.
Watch for Pomerantz closing here like she did on the relay. It might be too far for first, but she could get second place here with a strong finish here.
Saylor Hood, her second win of the day, 106.29.
Second was Pomerantz, 107.85, and Carrico from Hopco was third, 108.04. Great race there by the champions of the league.
Look at that. Those bottom 3 swimmers in the heat, or 3 of the bottom swimmers, 7, 8, and 9, all within a 1/10 of a second. That's some racing right there.
Now we're heading into our last individual event of the day. 11-12 boys 100 IM. 3 swimmers kicking us off in heat 1. Logan Swigert, Legend Oaks, Stellan Bazzelli, Long Point, and Colin Henkel from West County. A lot of hardware for the Hood family today.
It's 5 wins. I don't think they'll be able to get any relays. It looks probably a little too much. They'll be competitive on those free relays, but not that competitive. Too much depth from teams like Daniel Island, Park Shore for those. Actually, Park Shore's 11-12 girls could break the record. Because you have
Center of the universe is 11-12 girls. It's so competitive. It's so hard.
Kara Pomerantz, Maisie Lewis, and who's the third? Oh, Lucy Wilhoit.
Is there a pitted in there?
No, only girl pitter's 15. Did you already read these names?
I already did it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's where we are today, guys. It's 4 o'clock here on the East Coast of the United States. I have been here for over 9 hours.
Carolina Day Eve. Celebrating a big victory tomorrow.
Hopefully my car's still here, hasn't been stolen. Saylor going up against some tough competitors there. Leah had already won an event. Kara had won 2. So what was your strategy to try to beat them in that IM?
The backstroke, I knew I was going to pass some people, and same for the breaststroke.
Breaststroke's not your best stroke. So what were you thinking about as you were on that breaststroke trying to hang on?
You telling me to push my shoulders? Pushing my shoulders.
I like it. Love to hear that. And I'll explain what that means here in just a second, guys. What are you going to tell the rest of the swimmers on your relay? Obviously, the Killer Whale's looking for a big finish today.
That we can do it.
You can do it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So what that means is, and you both know breaststroke, you both can comment on this, the way that swimmers are able to essentially shrug their shoulders in breaststroke on the recovery in hopes of gaining forward momentum. It's what you really see from these top-notch breaststrokers, including your brother Steven, who we'll see tomorrow. And it's a little bit more of a struggle for those who aren't naturally breaststrokers. It's cool to see people listen to some things I say sometimes.
Something you also see from the top breaststrokers, you see almost a wave motion from their shoulders down through their lower back. And again, something that people that maybe are not natural breaststrokers, it might be a little bit harder for them to learn. And they more have to muscle through the water as opposed to flowing. As we're in heat 2 here, Diego Espinoza from Asheboro in lane 2, Braxton Newland Country Club in 3, Connor O'Neill Shadowmoss in 4, Jake Solinsky Asheboro in 5, Jack Kometz Newington in 6, Lowell Dewitt in Country Club in lane 7, and McCarthy Smith Newington in lane 8. I'm kind of combining some names there, so I apologize to those swimmers. As Jake Solinsky from Asheboro touching first at the back to breast turn.
There are other summer leagues that have longer distances. So even at any age, really, a summer-only swimmer can have an unconventional stroke and compete. I mean, I think about from the early 90s for me, Flora Syking and Ricky Goldthwait from Steve Farm for both breaststroke and butterfly. And so that, I think, galvanizes everybody. This meet isn't dominated by year-round swimmers. It's got a nice, healthy mix of lots of different swimmers because the distances are manageable. And the starts and turns and other things really matter. And we had a shorter season this year, which affected the development of some swimmers. But lots of really great coaches who are helping the swimmers figure out growing and getting better over a long period of time.
As Zielinski touched first in that heat, to add on what Jason was saying, I think tomorrow we'll really see a good mix of swimmers. There are some that only swim in the summer, some summer in high school, some year-round, and any combination thereof.
I'm going to actually argue with Jason saying that it's good we don't have longer events. Some of us need the distance, Jason. We can't swim 50s.
Dave, it's true. You're a machine with distance. So.
I don't know about that, but certainly not in the sprint.
As we go heat 3 here, Jackie Yates, Hobcar Lane 2, Miles Bentley, West County in 3. William Ryder, Somerville in 4, Jonah Tucker, Park Shore Lane 5. His teammate Whit Pittard in 6, Luke Melcher, North Charleston 7, Brady Zinski, Legend Oaks in 8, and William Tudor in Hobcar Lane 9. I don't know. As a distance swimmer, I love the shorter distances in Summer League, and it's about racing, it's about relays, it's about teammates and camaraderie. I think if we had heats and heats of 200s and longer races, that would kind of lose the I lose my train of thought, but lose a little bit of the fun spectacle. There's a place for that during the winter time, but I think the summertime is for racing, it's for cheering, it's for fun, it's for writing crazy things in Sharpie on your back.
It's funny, David, you might have written this article, but during COVID, as leagues were shutting down for the summer, this and that, whatever, but Swimming World wrote an article about the CCAA calling the season, and they brought in all these people, to Megan Kingsley, who swam for Daniel Island, and other people, just talking about how distinct the Coastal Carolina Aquatic Association is, and all those things that Zach just said. That's exactly right. It's a special place.
Jonah Tucker getting the win there. Megan Kingsley, Jason just mentioned, a multiple-time All-American butterflyer and IMer at the University of Georgia, semifinalist at Olympic trials, swam for Daniel Island for a number of years, still holds some records in meters.
Yeah, that article that you mentioned, Jason, was written by my Swimming World colleague, Matthew DeGeorge. Shout out to him. I'm sure he's not watching. He's busy covering World Cup games in Philadelphia.
You mean that sport where they kick the funny little ball around?
That one, yes.
And the clock goes up?
Yes. Well, the clock goes up in swimming, too. I got you there.
Good one. Heat 4 here. Grady Smith from Steve Farm in 2. Finn Gaston from Daniel Island in 3, who just saw his 10-and-under record be broken. Connor Graham by Chamelon in 4. George Klingeman, Long Point in 5. Sebastian Elwood, North Charleston in 6. Leo Heinen, Chamelon in 7. Finbar Graber, Northbridge in 8. Holton Jickling, James Island in 9. I hear David exclaiming about something.
Holden Jickling, just like we saw before, he is motoring out there. Look at this.
In the outside lane, again like in the backstroke. Or was that butterfly?
Butterfly.
That was butterfly. 30.9 at the halfway point. He's got 2.5 seconds clear of Klingeman from Long Point.
I don't know if you could do a 50 that fast.
Not anymore. Certainly not at 12.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty scary time to beat here coming into the final heat.
I talked about it earlier, but I was an IMer that came off the pace at the breast and free.
I know.
Fortunate enough, the year I swam as 11-12 was the first year we swam in Crowfield at yards, so I was able to hold a record for a year that, of course, didn't stand.
Oh, you won.
I did.
109,
yes.
47. Wow, that's a big drop from his seed time.
So I'll wait till those faster times in the next heat go, and I'll talk about how much faster it's gotten nowadays. But some swimmers that I've already mentioned, Charles Blanc, Hayden Condry, Noah Davey, Josh Adams, Connor Westbrook, those are some of the front half IMers that I always had to race.
Class of 2020.
19.
They were 2020.
Yeah, some of them are. Yeah, some were 19, some were 20.
Those are some names. Charles, wait, you said Charles was younger than you, right?
Yes, Charles. Yep. Sometimes they would get the best of me. Sometimes I would get the best of them. But always a fun time. Dual meets going up against those guys. As we go into Heat 5 here, Blake Williams, Crowfield, Nicholas Evans, Northbridge, who won the breaststroke, Sam Lathan from Shadow Moss, Jackson Ball, he was a multi-time winner and record holder of Crowfield lane 5, CJ Frederick, Somerville in 6, Easton Dewberry, James Island 7, Jackson Tidwell, Steve Farm in 8, Sam Smith from Daniel Island lane 9. Meet record here held by Wells Cloud, 101.94.
What was our top time there? 109?
109.4.
109.4.
When I was 12 and I won this, I was 106. So the records come down 5 seconds.
A little bit, yeah.
And Jackson Ball has a chance maybe to get this 101.9. He touching 28.3.
He's so good. Nick Evans, the breaststroke winner, he's going to come through the field here. He also has he didn't swim freestyle, but he's fantastic in that. Sam Smith from Daniel Island is looking good. He's going to be close to Evans for second right now.
And so Jackson Ball, who set the record in freestyle earlier.
101.94.
101.94. It's going to be tight here.
And he does it. 101.85. He gets it by 900. Second record today for Jackson Ball in the final individual event of the day. We got a Crowfield from Jason here as Jackson comes through.
Crowfield has done an excellent job today.
Yeah, I'm thinking about when the city meet was over at Crowfield, they gifted us the Pooler Express. We would park at Stratford, and then they would take a school bus over to the pool on Hamlet. It was awesome.
Fortunately, the live stream folks had a better parking, preferred parking. My mother may have also taken advantage of that while I had brothers swimming, as you know.
Getting a little event break here before the 9-10 girls relay. We got our event winner here, Jackson Ball.
Another record. Were you looking at that one, and did you think you could break it?
I'm sorry?
Another city record. Did you think you could break that one? What did you think you'd have to do to get there?
I knew this record was probably going to be the hardest one because my IM, I'm okay at IM, but it's not my best. So I was trying to really push on my breaststroke and backstroke. Those are my worst two.
What change that you think you made this season really helped you get there?
I had a problem with bending my right arm, and I had a bunch of coaches help to fix that. I went to a Virginia camp.
Well, it all worked out here. Go get ready for the relay.
Thank you.
as the relay teams are starting to assemble. We see a couple teams that are dressed up from head to toe. I'm not sure what kind of animal that is. But we've got 4 swimmers. They were, I would almost call them onesies. You know, they might have had feet. They definitely had hoods that were zipped up. But we see a lot of bravado from the relays and you know, tutus and headbands and team names, team cheers, because relays ultimately are, in my opinion, the most fun part of Summer League.
Agreed.
Getting to do it with your teammates and not just by yourself. As we go into the first heat of 9-10 girls here, we'll use 10 lanes. Lane 1, St. Andrews. Lane 2, West County. Lane 3, Long Point. Lane 4, Ashboro. Lane 5, Country Club. Lane 6, Crowfield. Lane 7, Chamelon. Lane 8, Legend Oaks. Lane 9, Fort Johnson.
This is a measure of how good a team is. It's free relays. You don't have to be a winner or top 2 or 3 in medleys or even in IMs. But if you can put 4 swimmers together, the points are worth so much. It's an indication of your depth. And it's hard to win this championship meet if you're not strong or at least above average in every single age group.
That's right. We talked about scoring earlier. Relays are double points. So top 15 relays score. First place gets 62 points, then 58, and so on and down to 4 points for 15th place. So lots of big points on the table there. Like Jason said, it doesn't have to be the best swimmers, but you got to have pretty good swimmers to average out to a pretty good relay. Who is that? Country Club, maybe Crowfield? Crowfield and Country Club in the lead early on. Ashboro right there as well. Chamelon not too far behind. Crowfield with the lead at the halfway point. A strong kick behind her. Although the swimmer from the Country Club really motoring, as well as the Ashford Alligator. So there's some strategy in here in terms of relay order. Jason, what are your thoughts on a relay order for a freestyle relay?
Gosh, Schnee Farm, we always went second, third, fourth, first. But, you know, Zach, you've got a lot of insights. There are a lot of different strategies, especially with the emotions of neophyte swimmers who aren't, you know, we're behind, we'll never catch up. That might not be the case.
That's right. Some of those swimmers we talked about have what you might in other sports call the clutch ability, and they can really come from behind. But I do think tomorrow, especially in the older age groups, we might see a lot more of the fastest swimmers going first. And those bigger bodies, those 15, 18 girls and boys, maybe even 13, 14s, you kind of want to get fresh water and clean water. So you'll have your fastest swimmer going first. And maybe your second fastest goes at the end, and then third and fourth might be swapped in the middle there. But I agree. I always like seeing your fastest 2 swimmers being first and last, getting a good, you know, in either order, depending on who is maybe more comfortable with the relay start. Country Club takes the heat winner, takes the first heat there, 2:29.20, just off their entry time, but heat winner nonetheless. Occasionally you see a team try to maybe not hide, but put a decent swimmer, you know, maybe one of their fastest 2 swimmers, maybe second or third, and you know, try to surprise some other teams, make some other teams play catch up, maybe front loading some relays there.
Yeah, the meet being here makes it a little more challenging, but back in the day when the meet was in a 6-lane pool, the tactics you were talking about were totally clear. It was like a bandbox, everyone on top of everyone else, and clear water was critical.
Especially the older age groups. I think you might still see some of that. I mean, here, there's only going to be so much wake from 9-10 girls. 15, 18 boys going 22s. That's violent.
Yeah, and at least we got a stable water level here. I'm thinking back of a memory at Crowfield. Oftentimes, city meet, it would rain overnight, maybe early. It would raise the water level. And so as the older swimmers, we would try to cannonball into the pool during warm-up to try to splash some of the water out.
I never swam city meet at Crowfield, but I remember one of the first years of the stream, one of my brothers was still swimming, and my shoes got totally washed out in the rain. My mom had to bring me another pair of shoes when she came to watch my brother. Second heat here.
Shout out, Susan.
Oh, God. She's not watching. North Charleston in 1, Schnee Farm in 2, Northbridge in 3, Somerville Y 4, DI in 5. Shadow Moston 6, Hobcost 7, Park Shore 8, Newington 9, James Island 10.
The record here set 2017 by Daniel Island, 2:03:09.
I don't think they're holding 31s.
I think that one's
30s
today. Daniel Island is the top entry with 2:11. 2:03 averages out to 30.7 as we go 32.4. So we'd have to see some 28s and 29s here. But a record is not everything. A city championship, arguably more important at this stage.
Arguably
more.
No,
arguably more important.
definitely.
Definitely.
I'm sorry for whatever you just said. No, definitely more important.
These are all opinions of commentators, David.
Yeah, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Yours just happens to be wrong here. No, I'm kidding. As DI, looking good.
Daniel Island touching first, 2.3 seconds clear of Steve Farm in second. I was talking about costumes and getting dressed up for relays. I believe I see a minion behind lane 8. That looks like Park Shore.
Yep.
I coach a college team, and we actually carry a stuffed minion on the pool deck with us.
Of course you do.
And it becomes an extra member of the cheering squad. Shout out Kevin.
Daniel Island, looking good. Sneap Farm, not far away. Northbridge third. Nope, that's Harbor Hood in the water for the Killer Whales. And in the water for Daniel Island, that's Ruby Muller, who's been a winner today. Shadow Moss is there as well. That might be Clara Aikman for Shadow Moss there. But here comes Daniel Island, looking really, really good. Trying to get this city meet title in pursuit of a third. The Flying Fish fly to another relay win in 2:12 flat. Northbridge coming in second. Sneap Farm takes third.
Another relay victory for the Flying Fish. As David said, they flew to victory on that one. You made the joke first, David. I'm just repeating what you said.
Yeah, you're right. Whatever. I'm the worst when it comes to this stuff.
Moving on over to the boys. 2 heats, lane 2, Fort Johnson, lane 3, Long Point, lane 4, Shadow Moss, lane 5, North Charleston, lane 6, Asheboro, lane 7, Legend Oaks, lane 8, Chamalon, lane 9, West County.
So relay, did you guys discuss relay scoring? So it's 62, 56, 62, 56, 52, 48, right? 62, 56, 52, 48, right? Minus 4.
Yes.
We have confirmation. 9-10 boys.
I just couldn't remember what second place was. I knew it was 4 points at the bottom at 15. All right, let's see if we can get the Daniel Island girls relay that just won here.
Congrats, girls. Tell us your names.
I'm Nina Olton, Ruby Muller, Riley Gaston, Olivia Keating.
How excited are you guys to get that relay win?
Really excited.
Ruby, you've had a busy day. Take me through kind of the ups and downs of all this. You've raced some tough competitors, but you had a lead there and you came through.
Yes, it was an amazing day today. Everyone did awesome. Daniel Island is amazing, and I just had to keep going and power through it.
So how many relay wins is this for Daniel Island so far? You guys won. Both 8 and under free relays won. So we're at 4 relay wins already?
Yes.
So what is the message you want to send to your teammates that are going to come in tomorrow and try and wrap this up?
Hard work pays off. Yeah, do your best and try to go as fast as you can and drop time.
Swim hard and don't pays off. And it's just for fun.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, so we're halfway through this first heat of boys relay. That is to be North Charleston leading, followed closely by Shadow Moss and Asheboro. You'll see on the blocks, some of the swimmers like to do what we call a track start. Some of them maybe do a wind-up start where they kind of follow their teammates' hand. They follow their teammates in with their hands and wind up. It's all a matter of what a coach feels comfortable, what a swimmer feels comfortable with.
I know some coaches for these 9-10s are like, no, we're not doing that, except for your really experienced ones.
Especially with these blocks. As of 2026, all league pools do have starting blocks, but they're not as many as advanced as the blocks here at the North Charleston that are up a little bit higher. They've got a wedge on the back.
And you might not be aware of the new rules, Zach, just because you haven't been here most of the past couple summers. You now can't dive in water deeper than shallower than 4 feet. So a lot of teams now are starting 8 and unders from the blocks every meet. Relays, the other end, they start in the water.
I had heard of that, yes. So a few of the pools a little bit shallower there.
A few? Most?
I can think of one that I swam in a lot, James Island. Very deep on the deep end, very shallow on the shallow end.
Of the 6 teams in the Red League this year, 2 of them were starting from both ends. Sneak Farm didn't, Daniel Island didn't, Newington didn't, Park Shore didn't. Just Northbridge and North Charleston.
That Park Shore is technically 4 foot 1 inch. That's what they have listed on the website.
It is.
All right, so some of those teams, you might see some improvements. I guess this morning we might have seen some improvements with diving on both ends in the 8 and unders on the relays. But North Charleston takes that Heat 1 victory, 229-93.
I think you see improvements everywhere.
As we go into the final heat here, lane 2 Northbridge, lane 3 Sneak Farm, lane 4 Daniel Island, lane 5 Newington, lane 6 Park Shore, lane 7 Somerville, lane 8 Crowfield, lane 9 Hobcaw. Oh, excuse me, lane 1 and lane 10 are not being shown on the scoreboard for some reason. Lane 1 is Country Club, and lane 10 is James Island. David is pointing out his heat sheet to me, which he didn't provide me with. So I'm just
Showed up late. Showed up late. Was too busy on your vacation.
Let's switch topics. You know, talking about pools and depths and stuff like that. A lot of neighborhoods, new neighborhoods, because we're in an area of the country that's growing. You know, walk-in pools. You know, all sorts of accoutrements. You know, Steve Farm doesn't have a diving board anymore because once it got too old, you couldn't grandfather it in. Then it's hard. Some pools are designed for the neighborhoods for entertainment and fun, which is awesome. But it can be a challenge to try to hold a meet there. And so even though the Tri-County area is bigger and has more people, it's less teams than we had, 20 years ago. Just something to think about.
That's right. Newington looks to be the lead off the first heat there. First 50. Crowfield out in lane 8, doing a great job challenging. But yes, Jason, I think one of my warm-up questions for David earlier, we got 19 teams competing this year in the league. At its largest, we had 27 in the early 2000s. Some teams have moved or changed or have gone away for a number of reasons. Pools have closed. But like Jason's saying, some of the newer neighborhoods that are being built a little bit more for entertainment, maybe not so much for lap swimming or race swimming. But we're just happy to have anybody that wants to compete and being a part of a team, making it work. We've got pools all different shapes and sizes. They are all 25 yards or meters now. We used to have a couple that were 20 yards back in the day. I believe the last of those, Quail Arbor, 2006, 2007 maybe was their last year. But 4 lanes, 5 lanes, 6 lanes, 8 lanes. St. Andrews even 10 lanes, and as well here at the North Charleston Aquatic Center. But a great race here.
Whoa, Newington trying to hold up Park Shore. I don't know. I think the Tiger Sharks. Yes. No, it's a tie. It's a tie. Down to the 100th. Newington and Park Shore at 2:10.53.
Coach Joe there on the other side was about to jump out of his shoes as Park Shore.
That would be funny.
There. Well, he's wearing flip-flops, so it wouldn't be that hard.
That made the stream worth it.
Newington dominated that whole race. Wow.
And really it all comes down to strategy there. Maybe Park Shore had their best swimmers go last. Newington might have had some stronger swimmers in the front, trying to get out a lead. And in the end, they came out touching the wall at the same time. So who's to say what worked out best? All right, 11-12 girls relay. Lane 2, St. Andrews. Lane 3, West County. Lane 4, Ashboro. Lane 5, Shadow Moss. Lane 6, James Island. Lane 7, Crowfield. Lane 8, Legend Oaks. Lane 9, Long Point. Not missing any teams there.
Gotta say, this has been going for 3.5 hours. Doesn't feel like that long. It's a good pace today. Felt pretty exhilarating. I don't know, for whatever reason, it does feel, I don't know, it's maybe dragged less than other city meets. I don't know why. I mean, obviously this isn't the whole thing, but.
Well, I think over the past couple of years, we've played with the format of what ages are in what sessions. So having back to 3 sessions this year is certainly going to help the pace.
All right, are we going to bring
Looks like we had a Harry Potter over here.
Are we going to bring 8 people over here now? Well, we'll start with Park Shore. We're gonna have to get our friends from Newington as well. Park Shore guys, in a comeback win in that relay. Tell us your names.
I'm Simon.
I'm Jude.
I'm Charlie.
And this is
Your name?
Unit. Reeve Pittard.
All right, so guys, you were way behind most of that race, but somehow pulled that out in a tie. How'd you do it?
Well, Jude just cooked.
I just realized that I really had to, really swim my hardest. I had to get us the lead. We had to come back.
You know how hard that is to touch at the exact same 100th?
No.
Well, you did, so good job, guys. Now you know. So that is, instead of 62 points or 56 points, I believe both teams get 59 points. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right? Both teams get 59 points?
Yep, when you have a tie, you add the points together from those respective places and you divide it by how many swimmers or teams are tied.
If it was more than 2, we'd be in a interesting situation. We're on the last page of the heat sheet. That's always a good feeling.
Yeah. And we are 3 swimmers down. We're on our anchor legs here of Heat 1 of the girls 11-12s. Looks like a tight race here between James Island and Crowfield. No, James Island, and Shadow Moss. Some of the older teams in the league. I believe James Island, an original team to the league. Touching first, 203. Oh. Yes. They touched first. James Island touched first, 203.29. Shadow Moss, 204.52. We might have had a soft touch there. Sometimes with the swimmers getting out of the pool, they might bump into the touchpad. But the backup timers, that's what we have them there for. They make those situations all straight. And of course we have officials that are checking for finishes as well. There we go. James Island 1, Shadow Moss 2, Ashboro in 3, and Heat 1. Going to the final heat. Girls 11-12, Lane 1, Chamelon, Lane 2, Newington, Lane 3, Daniel Island, Lane 4, Hopcaw, Lane 5, Park Shore with a shot at a record today. Lane 6,
No doubt.
Somerville Y. Also could be a dark horse or a record there, or at least pushing Park Shore. Lane 7, Northbridge, Lane 8, North Charleston, Lane 9, Sneak Farm, Lane 10, Country Club. Park Shore seated at 152.47. The record set 2 years ago by the Somerville YMCA, 151.24.
Yeah, this could be interesting. That's Kara Pomeranz going first. The record that she just missed earlier is 25.09. Wasn't she just off that record earlier?
25-20.
She was 25.20 earlier. So Kara going first to try to get another shot at this, and she's way out ahead. That's Tessa Ray for Northbridge, who's in second right now, but not even in the same stratosphere. Time we're looking for, 25.09. She's gonna get it. No! 25.35. I was wrong there. But it gives her team a 3-second advantage. I'm not sure who that second swimmer is for Park Shore. But we have Maisie Lewis and Lucy Wilhoy to finish this off. And we're going to talk to our Newington guys after this heat finishes. So stay right here, Newington. We're going to get you in just a second as Park Shore makes a run at a record.
Halfway through the swim, Park Shore, 55.99. See them doing some wind-up starts, using their momentum of the arm swing to launch themselves a little bit further out and down the pool. As we talked about earlier, the start is the fastest point you'll be moving at any point during the race. So got to take full advantage of it. And we talked about a close race, but this is not a close race. For second place, it is a very close race between Northbridge, North Charleston, Hobcaw, Daniel Island, and Newington.
The record we're looking for is 1:51.24. I don't see how they don't get it at this point. Lucy Wilhoit coming home for Park Shore. Tight race for second. 1:51.24. No, I'm wrong. She went at 26. 1:51.46. Northbridge comes in for second. That's Sailor Hood at a 26.91 coming home. And North Charleston taking third in 1:59.93. Apparently Sneef Farm was third. Then the Hobcaw was third. Then Sneef Farm, then North Charleston. Regardless, Newington is going to come talk to us about a big relay performance. Gentlemen, tell us your names.
Jackson. I'm Bennett. I'm Ezra. Joshua.
How excited are you guys to pull off that win, even if it was a tie?
It was amazing. I'm really excited. I never thought it was amazing that we won that race. No, Ezra's jammers helped him.
What has it been like today wearing these pink Tiger Shark caps and representing your team and doing a great job?
Great, but they hurt. They're good.
Fashion statement, but maybe not the most comfortable fashion statement. Congrats, guys.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
So we're going to get Park Shore over here in just a moment. Hopefully, as we're in our first heat of the final event of the day, about an hour after Zach tried to end this meet early.
I said final individual back then.
Sure.
Heat 1, we got Long Point, West County, Shadow Moss, Newington, Country Club, Ashboro, Legend Oaks, and Fojo, Fort Johnson. From the bottom of the pool to the top of the pool.
Viewers at home, please confirm what Zach said. I don't believe it. We're here with our victorious Park Shore Piranhas. Tell us your names.
I'm Kara. Maisie. Lucy. Penelope.
So guys, that was dominant. How much fun was that out there to do that?
It was pretty fun. It was really fun.
How have you guys gone through this meet knowing that you still had a big one waiting at the end?
Just like kind of conserving energy. Well, like going fast in our races, but still kind of like conserving our energy for our last big race.
I got to ask, did you change the relay order or were you always going to go first?
We changed it so I could have another shot at the record.
How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good. I just missed it, but it's okay.
Well, you guys, I believe that's the second fastest relay ever in this age group. Good job, guys.
Thank you.
They changed the order to give her a shot at the record. But you can do that when you're that much better than anyone else. And it probably doesn't matter. Who's winning?
I believe this is Shadow Moss. Shadow Moss here in the lead here in lane 4.
They've had a big day.
Yeah, they're going to take the Heat 1 win, 2:01.79, taking a casual 10 seconds off their entry time.
9.5.
I'm sorry, David, your hand was blocking the times. Maybe if you were left-handed, I could see it.
Yeah, my handwriting's bad enough. You look at my notes that I've taken today trying to jot down times. Like, what does that look like it says to you?
That looks like 36:21.
I believe that's supposed to say 31:23. I think. I can't even tell.
Anyway, I hope your whiteboard writing skills are better than that.
They're not.
In the classroom. We'll have to ask some of your students.
I'm sure you could get plenty of them to attest that they're not.
All right, last relay of the day, 11-12 boys, Heat 2, Lane 1, Hobcaw, Lane 2, Park Shore, Lane 3, Sneef Farm, Lane 4, Somerville, Lane 5, Crowfield, Lane 6, Daniel Island, Lane 7, James Island, Lane 8, Northbridge, Lane 9, North Charleston, Lane 10, Chamelon, Crowfield with Triple Crown winner Jackson Ball.
Yep.
Looks like he might be going anchor leg.
And just because this is the last heat of the day, guys, we'll be back at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning with me, David Reeder, Zach Moody, Jason Kreutner, for the 13, 14, and older session to wrap up our city meet.
Pull this table back a couple feet so we don't get splashed.
Probably a good idea.
And don't miss it. You know, the walk of the seniors. It's a really great thing. Back in the 70s and 80s, based on heat sheet sales, they'd give scholarships to 2 or 3 seniors, and then they figured out a way to give something to everybody. But it's nice. Their name will get thrown up. Really way to honor. So you want to make sure you're turning on the stream for that.
Of course, everything is digital now. I always like getting a good, solid city meet heat sheet in the binders. Getting to flip through, see all the team pictures, see the times, flip through, read the stories, see the records. As James Island has the lead at the halfway point, just barely over Crowfield, 55-36 to 55-89. But that is Jackson Ball on the blocks for Crowfield. And setting the record earlier in freestyle, he looks to leave the Stingrays behind and seal off another victory today for the Killer Waves.
Can't wait to see this split.
James Island in second, followed closely by Daniel Island, Sneak Farm, Park Shore, Northbridge, rounding out the top 6 there. As Crowfield coming in under the flags, 149-41. Jackson Ball split 24-3-3. James Island second place. Daniel Island is third. Sneak Farm is going to be fourth. Northbridge comes behind for fifth. Park Shore in sixth. And Shadow Moss from Heat 1 is going to actually get seventh there with a great time to swim themselves up into the top 10.
That'll wrap it for the day. A 24-33 split from Jackson Ball there. What was his time in the individual, Zach? 24-7 something like that. Well, regardless, it was very good. We're going to try to get the Killer Waves over here for one more quick conversation. Again, what time tomorrow morning?
9 a.m.
9, be there, be square.
Jason, Zach, and I will be here at 6 to get ready.
That's right, because being on time, or being early is being on time is late.
He thinks I'm kidding. We're going to try to get our Crowfield swimmers over here real quick before we wrap up. Crowfield, our winners. Tell us your names. Jackson, we'll start with you. We've seen a lot of you today.
My name's Jackson.
My name's Brody.
Your name?
Blake, Oscar.
Guys, how exciting was that, and how awesome is it to be in contention and then know you have a guy like this on the end?
Pretty nice. He's a great game.
It's great because you know if you're behind, you know you got a guy to catch up.
Jackson, how do you rate today out of 10?
It was a pretty good day. I'd say it's like 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. What's the message to Crowfield swimmers tomorrow?
Good luck, push hard, don't give up.
It's going to be an exciting last day. Thanks for an awesome day today, guys. And that'll wrap things up as parents push toward the exits. And we try to sit here and make sense of what has just happened. So again, for Zach, Jason, everyone working here, see you guys tomorrow.
Scores here at the end, or are we gonna get cut off?
We'll leave this up so we can show scores. Leave it up so we can show scores? Yes, we will. So you'll see scores. But Daniel Island maintaining the lead, entering the final day as expected, going for title number 4.
right, looks like we got some scores here through session number 2. 19th, 89 points St. Andrews. 18th, 182 Fort Johnson. 17th, 273.5 West County. 16th, 317.5 Legend Oaks. 15th, 325.5 Long Point. 14th, 508 Chamelon. 13th, 587.5 Somerville. 12th, 641 Ashboro. 11th, 809 Country Club. 10th place, 1032 North Charleston. 9th place, 1141 Crowfield. 8th place, 1155 Hobcaw. 7th place, 1189 Newington. 6th place, 1234 James Island. 5th place, 1359 Shadow Moss. 4th place, 1571 Sneak Farm. 3rd place, 1606 Northbridge. 2nd place, Park Shore 1620. And currently leading Daniel Island Swim Team 1726. So Daniel Island 100 points up on Park Shore. Park Shore, Northbridge, and Sneak Farm for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, separated by 14 between 2nd and 3rd. And then another 35 back to Sneak Farm. So 49 points separate 2nd and 4th. And a number of great battles as well. Newington, Hobcaw, and Crowfield between 7th, 8th, and 9th are separated by 48 points there.
A lot's going to change tomorrow.
And a lot is going to change tomorrow with the age groups, the older age groups. Long Point, Legend Oaks in 15th and 16th separated by only 8 points. But some ages will be a lot stronger and older. Some are where their strongest day was today. So we'll see a lot of movement there. We don't anticipate seeing a lot of movement in the top 4, other than within themselves, meaning no new teams will break into top 4. But look for, I would say, 5 to 10. Could see a lot of changes there with the ultimately the places of this year's city meet will determine the league divisions for next year. Top 6 will be in the red league, next 6 will be in the white league, and the bottom 7 will be in the blue league. Of course, we give out trophies for the top 4 teams. I believe top 4 teams get trophies. I might be making that up.
You're right.
Top 4 teams get trophies, as well as the each league champion. But David, do you have anything else to add today?
That was exciting. Another one tomorrow. Be here, be square.
All right, so we'll see you tomorrow morning, a little before 9.